Your home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
Yes. On a Thursday, Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. And well, just when you thought it was safe, it ain't safe, it ain't safe, it ain't safe. Not if you are a member of the Athletics. But I'll tell you why, at the very least, as it's sad to lose Mason Miller to the San Diego Padres, I'll tell you why this is different. And it's different because the A's are trending towards something. In the past, right, it has been the A's are already competing, and instead of taking that next step, it's time to pay folks. They don't want to pay folks, so they move on from them. Mason Miller, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, he is a luxury that the A's don't really need right now because they can't close games and they're really out of the playoff contention in the playoff race right now. So what do you need a closer for? You need starting pitchers to be able to get there. I'm probably going to tick some people off just to kick off the show here. But that was, in a way, the argument if you believed in Jonathan Kuminga that much when it comes to Keon Ellis. Because Keon Ellis would be perfect. He's the future Caruso. He's the future Lou Dort. Cool. That sounds outstanding. Nobody thinks Keon's going to be a traditional star in this league. Cool. The Kings have somebody that's really good when you make the playoffs. The only problem is the Kings haven't made the playoffs, and they're not slated to make the playoffs this season. I'm not saying to move on from Keon, but we saw Caruso on the Bulls. We've seen Lou Dort on other teams. So you want to try to keep these guys, but you can't get to point C if you can't get from point A to point B. And guys like Mason Miller, and to a lesser degree Keon, they're good once you get to point C. But you're not going to get to point B with them. At least you haven't. Keon's been on the team the last couple years here. And as long as they have, Allen, that's because of DeRozan and Zach LaVine. Well, guess what, buddy? They're still on the team. So it's almost as if with Keon, you're arguing two different things. You're arguing that he is a good fit, sure, but you're arguing he should be the starter on this team because of LaVine and DeRozan. I get it. I don't disagree with you. But them brothers still on the team. So not the same thing, but I hope you're hanging with me here when I describe why Mason Miller, I wouldn't say had to be moved, but why it made sense. You are not in the Mason Miller business right now. You don't get the luxury of having Mason Miller because you can't win enough ball games without Mason Miller or in general. So you don't need a closer to spoil. You cannot miss out on the number one prospect in baseball and a bunch more top prospects. You cannot miss on that because of a narrative and because you want to spoil teams. Oh, no, we really want to spoil. And this is what Coach Eric Martin said. We are in the spoiler position. Oh, we really want to spoil teams. So we're going to say no to a haul of a deal, an absolute haul of a deal. And I get it. It stinks. 5 years team control. Nobody says they're going to like it. Of course they're not going to like it. But you get multiple players that can line up with your young hitting core. You get shortstop Leo DeVries, okay? Number one prospect. And obviously you got Jacob Wilson. But who knows? Maybe Jacob Wilson is a second baseman in the next 5 years. You never know.
He is.
Number 3 prospect, Braden Nett. He's a pitcher. Henry Baez, number 13 prospect. He's a pitcher. Eduardo Nunez, the number 17 prospect. You get all of that, and now that timeline matches up correctly. And you might think, dang it, We really could use a Mason Miller in about 4 or 5 years, but them's the breaks. And as much as Mason Miller is a baller, I don't know, everybody and their mother is throwing 99 miles per hour these days. You'll be able to find another closer by the time you're ready to actually use a closer.
Well, here's the counterpoint, Allen. Can you name another reliever on the Athletics now? Like, I have no idea who's going to close for them.
But nobody should be able to name a reliever. The only person in America that should be able to name another reliever for the A's is Martin Gallegos, who covers the A's for MLB.com. Nobody else should waste their time with the bullpen of a 40-win team.
Okay, I get that part. But then there's also the practical aspect of this, which is, when Leo DeVries is going to be playing Major League Baseball, when the Athletics are in Las Vegas.
You don't know that, Kyle. It's different these days. I know he's young.
Maybe the other ones, sure, but that one specifically, he's in high A ball now.
Yeah, that's fine, though. That's fine. The other ones, like you talked about, that's what the A's need. That matches up with the big Amish, okay? That matches up with Nick Kurtz, the big Amish. That matches up with Jacob Wilson. That matches up with, I know they're a smidge older, but the Brent Rookers and the Lawrence Butlers. I'm not saying you have to like it. What I'm saying is that it's not the same as it's time to pay somebody. It wasn't time to pay Mason Miller.
Never even got to that point. Which makes me
somehow, some way, Luis Severino is still there.
Well, he's untradeable, They just can't do it. But
he said, no, that should have been me, not him.
No,
me.
He's just like, how Mason's probably going around the clubhouse and it's weird because it's their day off today, so they probably aren't seeing each other. But like normally they'd go around the clubhouse and dap everyone up. Severino just like holding back tears, just watching him go, like, take me with you.
And can I say something real quick? Tyler and Taylor Rogers, their parents, God bless them. Why did they do that? Why did they make life harder on themselves? Why did they make life harder on everyone around them?
Try to figure out which is which.
Every single time. I triple check it every single time. Tyler Rogers is the one that is now gone. Okay.
They're both gone.
I struggle with so it's basically an all-girl household. That's what I'm dealing with right now. Both the cats are girls. I've obviously got my wife. I got baby Stiles, and we got another one on the way. Might be a little bit early. Hopefully Dave's not listening.
Yeah, Dave, you're not listening.
Yeah, Dave's not listening. All of their names, it's kind of just the theme. They all end with A, right? So it's 2 syllables, end with A. We'll see what we do with number 2, but it's most likely going to end with A. That's just kind of the thing that we fell upon. And I still messed that up. And they're not twins, okay? And they're not the same names. Tyler and Taylor, why would you do this to them? Why would you do this to yourself? Why would you do this to the twins? Why would you do this to everyone that has to report on them in the future if you believe they were going to play Major League Baseball? It's ridiculous.
I also saw a story yesterday where they were reporting on both twins being traded and just the names going back and forth. I was just like, I have no idea which one.
Why? And there were three boys at River Cats a couple days ago. 2 of them play the games. All names started with W, right? And a lot of people like to do that. All my kids start with whatever, and that's fine. But Taylor and Tyler, why? And if they were brothers, I'd be a smidge less annoyed. Twins is crazy.
No, you're spot on with this.
It's ridiculous, man.
And what are the odds they both get traded within 2 hours?
And it's crazy.
And they were both on the Giants at one point.
You know they're twins. Thank you. Yes, did catch that one. Taylor and Tyler, and I'm doing it again. Okay, Tyler Rogers, Submariner. He is no longer with the San Francisco Giants. He is now a New York Met. Camilo Doval still on the Giants, okay? A couple hours left, still on the Giants. So we'll continue breaking all of that down for you. And A's fans, 916-339-1140. I know things have been confusing as heck. I get it, but we're here for you. You want to call in. Are you upset? Are you even upset?
All 27 of them are so angry.
Okay, give it a rest here, Mr. Padre, but Kansas City Chief guy.
Woo, we got Mason Miller.
Look, the text line is about to freak out.
I also think just scrolling through Twitter and texting like my brother and my friends, I seem like the only Padre fan that's like thrilled about this trade. Like everyone's just petrified that they just traded the next Lindor for Miller and Sears, which, hey, if he is, the A's will trade him once he gets good.
Okay. But all right. You get one more.
There's more in the Look, if we weren't all already turned off by the A's, there would be so many angry. If anyone here cared, there would be so many angry people about this trade.
But Kyle, you understand what I'm saying. This isn't the normal annoyance when they move off of someone. This isn't the we don't want to pay them move off. This is the we can't use you properly move off.
Yeah, I totally get that from a baseball standpoint, right? The A's need to address their pitching, and while I think the what is it, Braden guy is supposed to be pretty good, they didn't get any top 100 pitching prospect out of this deal. So, and by the way, the part that we're not really talking about, they also traded maybe their best starting pitcher this year in JP Sears.
Well,
Again,
Kyle, I don't care about that.
Sure, but 3 years of team control, had a sub-3 ERA since June. They also traded a pitcher to get not a pitcher in return. So, like, if their pitching staff was awful before, it's even worse now.
Sure.
And
sometimes you got to lose the battle to win the war.
Sure. And, like, this is all weird, right? Because they're temporarily in Sacramento, right? The Sacramento A's will never bear the fruit of this. Mason Miller was supposed to be the guy who was coming into Sacramento.
Kyle, I don't know. We do not know that. It's fourth year option. This is year one. They stink. Okay. I'm also the guy that was way too high on the A's when they were starting the season. I get all that. But I don't know, man. I'm thinking in that, and they got to worry about a holdout and things like that. But that third year, we cannot defend it. Now, I get what you're saying. Next season, I don't see the A's being incredibly better. They might mess around and be more watchable, but that third season, you don't know. You don't know. You just got to make sure there's an actual baseball season because of these salary cap possible holdouts.
Sure. And beyond that point, maybe they're going to be here. Maybe they aren't.
Sure.
But Mason Miller was one of the like 4 recognizable names.
I agree with you.
Even for like general Sacramento sports fans. And while I understand why they made the trade, most baseball fans are saying this guy DeVries has a chance to be like a real legit star. He's also 18 years old, might debut in Sacramento, but the bulk of his career,
that guy I'm not disagreeing with you on. I'm not disagreeing with you on Leo DeVries. I think you might be right. I think you might be right on that. We know baseball players have been getting to the big leagues quicker. Most of the time, those are college guys, right?
Right. Kurtz is 22.
Yes, Kurtz is 22 years old. 4 years is a heck of a difference. What I'm saying is, in this specific situation, I think this was the perfect time to move off of Mason Miller for a number of reasons. He is one of the more recognizable players on the team, but you know what? This is a season where the A's are digging into true young talent. Yeah, right now it's Mason Miller. You got Lawrence Butler. Everybody recognizes Lawrence Butler. You have Nick Kurtz doing his thing. Jacob Wilson started in the All-Star. One of them is winning the Rookie of the Year. That's 3 future faces, I would say. And you could throw in the Brent Rookers of the world as well. So I think that this was the perfect time to do it if I'm the A's, because we like Mason Miller. We also have a lot of different guys that are making their way up the ranks, and we want you to focus on that, because every single year this was going to happen, Mason Miller. And once we saw the premium on relief pitchers, I mean, go Giants, go move off of Camilo Doval right now. Go do it.
I mean, the relief pitcher thing, I get that. And while JP Sears, again, is a fine starting pitcher, also they are further away from having a good pitching rotation today than they were yesterday, which is crazy given that they have one of the top 12 lineups in baseball. They're all young, and they just have, I think their new closer is going to be a guy who got acquired in May, who was a buyout from the Red Sox, is about to be their closer in Newcomb. Like, they just have no pitching at all. And I just bring up the DeVries point to say, like, in baseball, you get 6 years before you hit free agency, right? 6 years of whatever, arbitration and whatever. That means the bulk of Jacob Wilson, Lawrence Butler, Nick Kurtz, these guys are going to spend the bulk of their A's career in Sacramento. We have no idea if those guys are going to ever make it to Las Vegas, right? By then, they might have new pitchers, new players. You know, Jacob Wilson gets 2 years away from free agency and they move him. We have no idea if those guys will ever get there based on the A's track record of trading players before they hit free agency.
Right.
For more examples of that, see the last 20 years of A's history.
Sure.
Mason Miller, I think, is a microcosm of the Sacramento experience, right? Because him, Butler, Wilson, the bulk of their A's careers were going to be in Sacramento. And the fact that they're already moving Miller, already talking about moving some of these other names in the future kind of tells you, like, it's, again, Sacramento already is out on the A's, but it just gives you more of a reason to, for the 27 people who really care, that you should be pissed today that they decided to make that move if you are a Sacramentan who wants to support the A's.
Well, yes. And it really depends on if you are a Sacramentan who wants to support the A's or if you are an A's fan. Those are two different things.
Well, yeah, there's only 27 of those, and 10 of them are in Sacramento.
If you are an A's fan, then this move made sense. If this is about, I want a competitive team while in Sacramento, I mean, I think it was going to be tough sledding for you anyway. So we'll see if any other moves get made there. Some of the news that we didn't even get to yesterday that broke around the same time, Shannon Sharpe, who settled with that whole situation, was let go from ESPN. I checked out the video that he put out yesterday, and it was mostly about, hey, I don't really mind that ESPN moved off. And I don't know why he really should, because he is making a lot of money. He's making enough money to be able to say that. How about that? So he says that, then goes on to say, I just had asked them, can they not release it until after the weekend because his brother, Sterling Sharpe, is getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. ESPN said, no, we'll do what we want and release it. And Shannon Sharpe just felt as if he wanted this weekend to be about his brother. And hey, I think it still could be, but, you know, ESPN felt like they did what they needed to do. Gilbert Arenas was arrested, and they don't call him No Chill Gil for nothing. He was released from the arrest and immediately runs out of jail, posts a video saying, I didn't do nothing. I just hosted the illegal events. This is from Mike Levine. This came out yesterday. Former NBA star Gilbert Arenas and 5 others, including a suspected high-level member of an Israeli transnational organized crime group, were arrested today on a federal indictment alleging they operated an illegal gambling business in which high-stake poker games were played at an Encino Mansion Arenas own. So he's basically trying to do, and shout out, but he's trying to do the Barry Bonds thing and say, I guess, I don't even know if he's trying to say that he didn't know what was going on, or he's just saying, I didn't play in the games. They were at my house, and I was, Gilbert, probably getting a cut of them being hosted there, but he's trying to claim that he didn't do nothing. That's what the video said. I didn't do nothing. I just hosted the games. I just hosted them, or it just happened at my house is what he said.
Go ask Michael Vick how that worked out for him. The defense of, I wasn't participating. It was just at my house. So didn't really work great.
Look, I know Gilbert Arenas and we talked to Josiah Johnson at Summer League, and that went a bit viral because the Gilbert Arenas show is never really that nice to Sacramento. So I didn't really know how to feel when I saw this. It just was a very bizarre thing to read, and it broke during the game, and it was just Like I said, it was just extremely bizarre.
I was shocked he posted a video leaving the house.
I thought it was, you know how people will pull old videos? I thought it was an old video, and then I saw it confirmed that it was on his Instagram. So just a little bit of news to break down with you there from around the league. Of course, we have MLB trade deadline for you as we continue to approach that deadline. The NBA, some of the Kuminga, not some of, but the Kuminga conversations, kind of the fallout from that. So much happened yesterday during the show. It was a heck of a show, and thanks to everybody that was a part of it. But it led me to start thinking about something. And you know I like my handshake agreements. And as we continued, I was talking to someone close to the Warriors situation, not a source within the organization, but covers the team. And the more we were talking about the Kings just easily putting Keegan Murray and Keon Ellis on ice there in those conversations, it made me think, okay, so Keegan Murray is probably the next thing on the summer checklist, right? You know, you ever have you got your to-do list in your phone, or me personally, I just do the checklist in notes. I just like that better than the to-do list, and you can check whatever you've done. The Kings checklist so far has been draft well, get another, which we don't know that they did that yet, but we all feel good about it. Go get a point guard, right? The next thing on the priority list is where the situation has gotten a little confusing, and we don't necessarily know where their priorities lie. Because in my opinion, Keegan Murray and or Keon, they should be next on the list. But on the Kings priority list, after go get a point guard, it went draft, get a point guard in whatever order, right? Then after that, it turned into get another point guard, or I guess dump contract was in there, but that was all, we'll connect it all to get a point guard. So then after those two, it turned into get another point guard, or go get a foundational piece in Jonathan Kuminga off the TJ Maxx rack, off the discount rack, off the clearance rack. What is going on here? And then I guess after those things, it's extend Keegan Murray. And then after that is extend Keon Ellis. So it made me start thinking, how many handshake agreements does Scott Perry have? There has to be another one. And we'll tell you what it is in the 11 o'clock hour. But when we return, there is a reason Jonathan Kuminga is doing all of this, okay? And it's very simple, and it might be petty, but I feel like a lot of us may do the same thing. Allen Stiles, 4 hours with you, Sacktown Sports.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial.
Visit mintmobile.com/radio.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
The Hagen Oaks Cutting Edge Putter Fitting Studio offers you more technology, more choices, and more service. Hagen Oaks wants to be your go-to total golf game fitter. With $30,000 worth of state-of-the-art technology ready for your fitting, Hagen Oaks will help you make your best putting stroke while finding the best putter design, shape, hosel, length, and loft for your game. Schedule your fitting at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531 for more.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got to tell you, I am so excited to get this decking project started with Trex Decking and Railings. From the first time I stepped foot in the showroom last week, I was so impressed. So many color options, heat-resistant composite deck. What does that mean? That means I don't have to do any maintenance on it whatsoever. They even have a deck designer, so you can go online and see what your dream deck will look like on your house. Just visit Trex, that's Trex.com to get it started. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Get ready for a night out with Jordan Davis. It's Country in the Park 2, Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Along with special guests Mitchell Tenpenny, Locash, Vincent Mason, and Averyana. Make it a family day out with food trucks, games, dancing, and more. Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Sponsored by the California Army National Guard and Hot Valley Brewing. Tickets at CITPFest.com.
Hey, I'm Allen Stiles. Injured at work? Call downtown. DTLA Law Group, California's leading injury law firm. With over 40 lawyers throughout California, they have won over $500 million in settlements. DTLA Law Group will get you compensation for your work injury. You don't pay unless they win. That's right. You pay zero up front. Call downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222. Visit them at calldowntown.com. Text charges may apply.
At Wells Fargo, we know what got you into your business, whether it's manufacturing, running a restaurant, or your business from home. What you didn't get into your business for was banking. But luckily, Wells Fargo offers business checking, payments, and lending all in one place, in your neighborhood and on our app, so you can focus on doing what you love. Wells Fargo, you're good at business, we're good at business banking. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/business. Terms apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Saturday, August 9th, it's the Night of Champions at Stockton 99 Speedway with a huge fireworks show. Week Pass champions during the exclusive autograph session. Then buckle up for Pro Late models, mini stocks, and more. Tickets start at $20. Get yours now at Stockton99.com. Be there.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140
on Sacktown Sports.
916-339-1140 if you want to be a part of the conversation. 209 says, I'm happy Miller was a luxury and we got the third best prospect in baseball. 916 says Sears has given up 23 home runs this year, second most in baseball. Couple texts coming in on what's going on with the A's as they move on from Mason Miller, JP Sears, and some A's fans are understanding of it, but there's a difference between fans that want to support the A's while in Sacramento and simply A's fans. And from the 279, Arenas is a loser. Another a 209. I'm happy Gil is in trouble. It soothes my soul after what he said about Sacramento. Hey, I am neither agreeing or disagreeing, but yes, I understand why y'all feel like that from the 279 and the 209. As we get back into some Kuminga talk, and this hit me yesterday as I was rereading a lot of what came out and obviously trying to approach it from a different way as there was a lot of information that popped up yesterday. This is from the Anthony Slater featuring Shams article, okay? The continued stalemate is largely about control, and the option dispute is at the crux of it. Kuminga believes accepting the Warriors' 2-year offer with a team option along with forfeiting trade veto rights cedes too much control, here we go, to a franchise he believes has stunted and strung his career along for 4 seasons, sources said. Now, the Kings might be leaving this conversation. They may have already left it as the Warriors are trying to shift the narrative to, well, we're shutting down sign and trade talks. Yeah, because you have no leverage. And your only leverage is kind of calling his bluff. And whether or not Jonathan Kuminga wants to be back in the building, his agent may have already discussed with him, hey, this is what we're going to do, right? We don't expect the Warriors to change their offer. Maybe they will. The same person I was talking to yesterday who's not high on Jonathan Kuminga at all, said the Warriors are going to have to up that offer. If they don't, and he said that's low even for me. That's low even for me. The Warriors are going to have to accept that. They're going to have to bump up that offer. Or he takes the qualifying offer and they risk losing him. We've been over all of this before. But the idea of Jonathan Kuminga and his agent not knowing what they're probably going to do, I don't think that's the case. If you listen to the last part of what they purposefully put out there to say he believes the organization has stunted and strung his career along for 4 seasons. And we have a timeline coming up in the 11 o'clock hour. It is pretty insane how all of this went down. But it's very simple. Jonathan Kuminga is sitting there saying, y'all wasted my time for 4 years. Now I'm going to waste your time. I'm going to waste your time now because there were situations where I would start. There were situations where I would gather dust on the bench. There were situations where one person is telling me I'm going to be a star, arguably the most important person in the owner. But I got guys coming up to me saying, hey, you need to work on your rebounding. You need to do this. You haven't earned anything yet. And maybe Jonathan Kuminga should have listened to them a bit more. But the idea was that this organization, they didn't know how they wanted to approach it. So since you didn't know how you wanted to approach it, you brought on somebody that needed a runway. Now I got to watch guys like Trey Murphy III get paid $28 million a year. And I probably would have been putting up the same type of numbers on a bad Pelicans team. And I'd probably just be better in general. Kuminga is not a perfect player by any stretch of the imagination. And you don't have to believe that he is. But this is a situation where, you know what? I'm just going to take my time. I'm going to take my time. And he's probably being a little petty. But that's his prerogative to be petty. If the Warriors didn't want to be in a position where Jonathan Kuminga could be petty, then they should have handled the last 4 years differently. It's that simple. But Jonathan Kuminga, they probably have a good idea about what it is that they actually want to do. But we don't have to tell you, Golden State Warriors. We don't have to. The same way you couldn't figure out what you wanted to do with me over the last 4 seasons, well, now I'm going to waste your time. Now I'm going to hold up your offseason. This is my situation. And it also, I think, helps because maybe the Warriors do eventually up that deal, that short-term deal. But at the crux of this, when somebody wastes your time, whether you agree with it or not, we don't have to agree with how Jonathan Kuminga feels. It doesn't matter because I'm not Jonathan Kuminga. You're not Jonathan Kuminga. But in your regular life, if somebody is late to a meeting, and I mean late to a meeting, it annoys you. It almost makes you feel like, unless they're your boss or something, and sometimes even if it is your boss, well, now I don't want to respond. Hey, can we reschedule, blah, blah, blah. Now I'm going to take my time responding because you wasted my time. You thought that your time was more valuable than my time. And you don't have to say it, and you'll never admit it. But when you're deprioritizing me time and time again, year after year after year, you can be as self-aware as you want. When I covered the Warriors, yeah, we're trying to get Jonathan Kuminga figured out. He needs to do X, Y, Z. But you weren't, though. And you won a championship in 2022. We get that. It wasn't a normal situation, but it was your choice to draft a high-ceiling project. I was just mentioning to Kyle again, it's Trey Lancey. It's not the same because I think Jonathan Kuminga has a much brighter future. No disrespect to Trey Lance. But you didn't give him the runway. He feels like you wasted his time, and now he's going to waste your time. Oh, you want to sign Al Horford? Cool. You can do that when I feel like signing and resolving this thing. Oh, you want to sign DeAnthony Melton? Cool. Another guy getting more time than me when he just popped onto the team. Cool. Well, we're going to figure this thing out first. And it's your choice, Warriors. You can up the deal. You can remove the team option. But you are not going to waste my career for the last 4 years and then try to still give yourself some version of control. I'm off that. You lost that ability when you couldn't figure out what to do with me time and time and time again. You lost that ability to do that. You lost that privilege. And you can still end it. You can still just say, I'm cutting my losses. We're removing the team option. Here, we'll pay you the 40 guarantee. And I don't even know if he'd say yes. Or we're going to up the annual amount. But Jonathan Kuminga, whether I agree with it, whether you agree with it, whether the Warriors agree with it, whether Warrior fans agree with it or not, at the crux of all this, when somebody is late to a meeting for you, or you got that friend that's always late, you just start getting annoyed, right? That friend that is always too busy to return a text message when you know they're on their phone. If you're a Gen Zer, okay, so you didn't respond to my text, but you're posted on your story. I texted you 2 days ago. You're deprioritizing me. And I thought we were boys. I thought you were my girl. You are deprioritizing me. So now I'm going to deprioritize you. And I'm going to deprioritize you in a way that's going to hold up your summer. The word out of the Warriors camp right now is that they feel as if they have 2 months to get this all figured out. But Jonathan Kuminga could make sure that is a brutal 2 months. And it might cost him. This is a battle of the petty right now. And you don't have to agree with him. And you don't have to think that he's as good as Trey Murphy. But the reality is we haven't seen Trey Murphy in a situation where he hasn't had runway like with the Warriors. And we haven't seen a situation where Kuminga does have runway. Now, yes, Trey Murphy does more so profile to where the league is going. But I'm going to tell you what, man. I told you I was in a black hole last night. And the reality is I'm watching Jonathan Kuminga, and it was 12 minutes highlights, Jonathan Kuminga. And I thought to myself, yeah, I don't know if he'll get to 30. And Whitey spoke about this as well during the crosstalk. There's no way he don't get 25 in unrestricted free agency at 22, 20. At this point, I think he'd finally be 23 years old. There's no way. Somebody is giving him 25. And I've been the one who told these guys are getting 30 mil. I still don't think he's getting 30 mil because Trey Murphy III didn't get 30 mil. He's not getting 30 mil. But 25, maybe 26, start to creep up there. Somebody will convince themselves. And I understand from the draft perspective, but not everybody hits in the draft. And you have a guy who you can sit there and say he's had this many years. The other thing is, too, and we're going to go over his timeline as well, when people want empowerment, and I'm guilty of this as well, you kind of turn it into being spoiled. I don't know how many people know Jonathan Kuminga's story coming from the Republic of Congo. But when you actually look at his quotes and what he talks about, I don't think it's a situation where there's a motor conversation. He wants to work his butt off, and he wants to be that guy. I don't know that he will or not, and I don't fully agree with how he's going about it. But I also don't have, is he going to play hard questions? I think it's more so, is he willing to do some of the dirty work? And I do think if he gets on a team, he just wants a trade, if you will, right? He just wants a couple trades, but he wants a trade of, hey, I will do the dirty work, but I want to be that guy. Now, do I agree with how he's going about it? Not really. But he feels like he can pull that off. And watching the highlight tape yesterday, he probably will, because all it takes is one team. And we have a breakdown of all the teams that will be around there as far as cap space is concerned. But ultimately, Jonathan Kuminga is sitting there saying, y'all wasted my time. Now I'm going to waste yours. And Al Horford can sit there in limbo, and DeAnthony Melton can sit there in limbo. And ultimately, I don't care. I don't care because you didn't care. And that's all that really matters is his opinion. When we return, there's such an obvious team that's probably thinking about Russell Westbrook. And if the Kings aren't able to resolve this, they better hope that Russell has picked them if this team gets back into the fold. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
He digs, he turns, he dives. It is a touchdown. It is a touchdown.
The NFL is on Westwood One.
Uncorks a deep ball downfield into the end zone. A crowd is there, and it is caught. Touchdown. Miraculous!
The NFL Hall of Fame game live from Canton, Ohio. Chargers and Lions. Tonight starting at 5 right here on Sacktown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time and skip the regular line at the airport and pay for speedy security. Imagine not having to quickly unpack and pack at the place you already came packed to. And wearing your shoes the whole time you're there? You can't put a price on that kind of luxury. Well, actually you can, and you paid for it. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time for speedy security. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
The success you've already had matters at University of Maryland Global Campus because we're a school for real life. An accredited state university, UMGC lets you earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and relevant life and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer affordable tuition and online and hybrid courses. Classes start August 13th. Apply now and save with no application fee. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Great conditions, a fun layout, and unbeatable value. Timber Creek and Sierra Pines are Sacramento's #1 rated golf destination. With 27 holes, a spacious practice facility, and professional instruction, there's always a way to improve your game. Planning a tournament or corporate event, they offer customizable packages and award-winning catering to make your event effortless. Timber Creek is easy to find in Roseville, but hard to forget. Book your round today at timbercreekgc.com or call 916-774-3851.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents it's local, but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit khtk.com.
Hi, Sacramento. It's the No Surprise guys at Bell Brothers Plumbing. Need a water heater or plumbing repair? Call Bell Brothers. Clogged drain? We'll clear it for $67. Plus a free camera inspection, a $250 value. We're fast, on time, and the price we quote is the price you pay. No surprises. Plus, we'll check your plumbing for free. Call Bell Brothers or book at thenosurpriseguys.com.
At Kids Care Dental and Orthodontics, we're all about summer smiles. During July, we're having our Summer Smiles special with $300 off braces or Invisalign with no money down if you start treatment in July. And you'll have a chance to win Legoland tickets. Go to kidscaredental.com for more information.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
The Russell Westbrook thing and the back and forth that we've kind of heard about as far as his interest in the Kings and the Kings' interest in him. It's been going for a while now. But I do wonder why in the world the Phoenix Suns have not called about Russell Westbrook. And maybe it's not that they haven't called about Russell Westbrook. Maybe it's possible that Russell Westbrook has decided, hey, I want to be with the Sacramento Kings. I don't necessarily want to be with the Suns, because I'm looking here and they're trying to choose between Jalen Green. You had our guy John Gambadoro. He came out and said first it was going to be Devin Booker, and then it's as if he got the information. The way the timeline went, it was a bit funny because it's as if he got the information. Suns fans freaked out because they don't like Devin in the point guard position. They just don't think it's how his talents are best served. Then they came out and said, no, Jalen Green is going to be the point guard. And I'm just kind of going through his timeline here. I believe Chris Paul, this was July 2nd. They were talking about Chris Paul, said that they did not have any interest in Ben Simmons, no interest in Campaign, who clearly reached out. So that is, I don't understand what they're trying to do, right? I don't really understand what they're trying to do. They got Gillespie, and he's going to be some version of a backup. I don't know if they haven't called Russell Westbrook or if Russell Westbrook said, no, I'm waiting to see what happens in Sacramento, because you look at this and you say, all right, I think he would be good for Jalen Green if you're trying to turn Jalen Green into some type of point guard. And I think he'd be good for Devin Booker, to be completely honest with you. They'd be really, really annoying with Dillon Brooks and Russell Westbrook. And I don't think the Suns are scaring anybody. I think the Kings are probably better than them. But I could also see the Kings losing to the Suns without Russell Westbrook. But I could see the Suns being annoying. You add Russell Westbrook, you got Devin on a good night, Jalen Green gets hot for a couple months. They're not going to do anything, but I could see them being annoying.
Well, the other part, too, is there's no point in them tanking. They don't have their draft pick.
Exactly.
It's not worth. Maybe you could prioritize young talent or whatever that Wizards guy said one time, but
develop young talent.
Yeah, developing young talent maybe, but you can do both because again, their pick right now goes to the Grizzlies. I think it's a pick swap, but their pick would go to Memphis right now, so it's not like they even get to keep their own draft pick.
Right. So I'm a bit surprised that we haven't heard more about that. And he says, yeah, plan will likely be, this is what Gambadaro had said, plan will likely be Green starting at point guard, not Booker, Gillespie as the backup with Goodwin and Butler battling for third point guard. That's horrendous. And the Suns, they were in the battle. This is why it doesn't make sense. They're in the battle with the Kings for the most shooting guards. Has Jalen Green ever played point guard?
Oh, that's a great question. We can go back and see on some of those old Rockets teams when they were really bad.
And I bring it all back to the Kings because unless Russell Westbrook has specifically said, I don't want to go to the Suns and I want to be with the Kings, as the Kings are slowly but surely moving away from Jonathan Kuminga, at least that's how it seems with the Warriors shutting down the sign and trade talks. If I'm Russell's agent, I'm saying, hey, we can put some pressure on the Kings if you want, just to make sure we get this thing done, if that's what you want to do. Because I don't see how the Suns, especially with Matt Ishbia, that's got Russell Westbrook written all over it. To just have a team that doesn't look terrible on paper, but just isn't very good. That's exactly what Matt Ishbia is normally, what his MO is. So I'd look at that if I'm Westbrook's agent. And with that being said, now that it seems as if the Kuminga stuff is on pause for now, should we, again, going back to the Kings priority list, what's next? So now let's assume the Kuminga situation has dropped down the priority list, right? Just based on what we're hearing. What's next? Russell Westbrook or signing Keegan Murray to that extension? You know how I feel. And maybe they're thinking, well, Keegan's not going anywhere. We can get it done. Doesn't really sound like Russell Westbrook's going anywhere either, unless they wake up this morning and say, hey, the Suns got something for us. What I think is going to be prioritized versus what should be prioritized could be two different things. I'd like to think that the Kings would prioritize Keegan Murray and just get the extension done. Let's celebrate. Let's lock in one thing. What could easily be the case is Russell Westbrook and prioritizing how that gets done. Because here's the other piece of it, going back to the prioritization. How can they, does moving Devin Carter and Malik Monk, it's all connected to their love of Westbrook. Because based on what Matt George said at the beginning of the week, the Kings want to move on from Malik Monk or Devin Carter before bringing in Westbrook. So now Keegan gets pushed down further if it's about Westbrook, because now you'd say that moving Malik or Devin Carter would move above Keegan and move above Westbrook, because you can't move on Westbrook until you move those guys, or at least that's what they want to do. I don't really agree with that prioritization.
Well, and to disagree with what Matt was reporting, like there is still a world where they can bring in Westbrook without one of those two guys being moved. They'll
and that was preferred. Yes, that was preferred.
Yeah, they still might say, we love Westbrook so much that we will bury Devin Carter in the depth chart. And
for now, yes. Yeah. Until we trade him for Dalton Knecht with the Lakers. That's what we're going to do.
Even then, Dalton Knecht would be the 11th guy on the Kings based on.
You can change the culture here.
But Nick Clifford, Allen.
But yes, just throw them all out there. I just want all 6'6". Now, look, we're getting taller by the GM, a couple inches here. So now all 6'6" lineup.
Hey, a couple inches makes all the difference.
That is quite true. So, the Westbrook thing and the prioritization, I wouldn't be surprised. And I said on social media, don't be surprised if the Kings look to prioritize Keegan Murray. But as I'm saying this thing out loud, if they are worried about a Phoenix Suns, and I already know what you're going to say, Kyle, if there was another team because I Googled a lot yesterday, and the aggregators these days, it is dry on the Westbrook front. There is, I Googled different versions to try to get picked up by AI. Suns Westbrook 2025, Westbrook trade teams. The only thing that came up, or the only teams that came up, are teams that ended up going in a different direction. Like from June, the Bucks, who ended up going with Cole Anthony, right? So they made different decisions. It's dry for Westbrook. So the idea, and maybe the Suns come back into the conversation. Why the Suns haven't had that conversation, I don't know, unless Westbrook said, I'm cool, I want to be in Sacramento. It's possible. I know him and DeMar DeRozan, both from SoCal, are good friends, but the prioritization to me should be Keegan Murray, and I also wouldn't be surprised if it's get Westbrook on the team, and they were trying to see if Kuminga was going to take care of business with that, with one of the guard spots opening up. Now that's probably not going to happen, let's just add him and see how we can maneuver Devin or even Malik.
I think, though, from the Suns' perspective, they have to play either Jalen Green or Devin Booker, which, by the way, I looked it up. Him and Kevin Porter kind of alternated point guard his first year, but the Rockets also won 20 games.
But Westbrook's coming off the bench.
Yeah, I get it, but, I guess if they're going to have to play both of them because they also have Dylan Brooks and Royce O'Neal.
Dylan can go to the 3.
No, that's what I'm saying. If they're going to play all those guys, they can't afford to play Westbrook and Jalen Green and Devin Booker together. So I guess they just don't really need it.
Who do you think? Which team do you think gives the Kings or gives Westbrook a better chance of getting close to his 27 minutes a game?
Can I say?
No, out of those two.
As of right now, I would say Sacramento.
How?
But I think the answer is just if someone gets hurt. That's honestly the only.
It's the Suns.
I don't know for sure if that's true.
All I know, it's a battle of the off guards, and it's close. We counted them. Technically, the Kings have more. Technically. All right. Let's get to the 11 o'clock hour. The ridiculous, curious case of Jonathan Kuminga, the trouble timeline. This thing goes back, people, and I can't stress enough how badly the Warriors have butchered this. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
20, 15, 10-5, diving. Is he in? He is.
The NFL is on. Westwood 1.
Down the middle, it's caught over the shoulder in the end zone. Touchdown, Smith, and that may make it insurmountable. Wow!
The NFL Hall of Fame game live from Canton, Ohio. Chargers and Lions tonight starting at 5 right here on Sacktown Sports.
When you stay in your home, what you love gets to stay too. From the gardens that grow wild to the grandkids that run wilder. From the Friday night baseball games to the Sunday morning brunches, even the daily crosswords and weekly book clubs. There's room for it all with help from Home Instead, the largest in-home senior care network with over 30 years of trusted experience delivering the peace of mind you deserve. Visit Home Instead online for a better what's next.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-329-2121. That's 800-329-2121.
Get ready for a night out with Jordan Davis. It's Country in the Park 2, Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Along with special guests Mitchell Tenpenny, Low Cash, Vincent Mason, and Abriana. Make it a family day out with food trucks, games, dancing, and more. Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Sponsored by the California Army National Guard and Hot Valley Brewing. Tickets at CITBfest.com.
Allen Stiles here with your Sacktown Sports Injury Update, brought to you by DTLA Law Group. Denzel Clark, out with that right adductor strain, is going to be out until late August. Manager Mark Kotze said Clark will probably require a couple weeks from the date of his placement on the IL. Brady Basso, out with that left shoulder strain, is scheduled to throw 20 pitches upcoming in batting practice. He had been pulled off of his rehab assignment in mid-June. That was your Sacktown Sports Injury Update, brought to you by DTLA Law Group. It's Allen Stiles here. You injured at work? Call downtown. DTLA Law Group, California's leading injury law firm. With over 40 lawyers throughout California, they have won over $500 million in settlements. DTLA Law Group will get you compensation for your work injury. You don't pay unless they win. That's right. You pay zero up front. Call downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222. Visit them at calldowntown.com.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Hammer time thrown down by the league. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports, 1140. Your home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
1 hour down. That was a quick hour. 1 hour down. 3 to go. And yeah, we'll spend some time later. So I'm getting some jitters, Kyle. Spent some time later, I just found out that the YOLO High Wheelers indie ball team out here in Yolo County, I will be throwing out the first pitch on Saturday. Do I go full windup? Do I just kind of toss it? We'll have some fun with that a bit later, because right now we are talking about the ridiculous, curious case of Jonathan Kuminga's timeline and how truly crazy it has been, and how I'd argue not unnecessary, but kind of unnecessary that the Warriors are now in this situation. So let's start here, and we're going to skip over obviously the draft and all of that, but to where some of the drama started, okay? And the drama really has become whether or not the Warriors are going to give Jonathan Kuminga the runway. So they win in 2022. I believe he might have been a rookie that year. Was that 4 years ago? Yeah, so that was his rookie year.
No, because remember, he was like 19 and he couldn't pop champagne with the team.
Right. So everything is all good after they win. Now, the next season, this is where things got a little bit sticky. And I hate to bring this up, Kings fans, but this is just based on the timing. But there was an article written May 3rd, 2023 by my guy who doesn't even cover the Warriors anymore. Now he covers the Nets, CJ Holmes. But at the time, he covered the Warriors for the San Francisco Chronicle. Now, I was covering the team at this time, and I was on the flagship, and it got really weird because this article came out, and Jonathan Kuminga had some things to say. It was during the playoff run, and then all of a sudden, the article, it didn't go away. You can still find it, but how everyone addressed the article just got a little sticky. So this is the crux of the article. Where's Jonathan Kuminga? And there's a theme here. Talking about why he's wasting the Warriors' time. And as somebody said on the text line, 850 said, where's the 850, Kyle? The 850 says Trey Murphy played his role and ascended. He didn't pout. He did what he was told. He was picked ahead of Herb Jones in the same draft and had to be a backup.
The 850 is Panama City, Florida.
Shout out Panama City, Florida. We're worldwide, baby, just like Pitbull says. And it's not that I disagree with you, 530 or 850 in this sense. Yes, most people get their role and then ascend, and then you find out, hey, this guy's going to be a dude, right? Unless you're just on a really bad team. Trey Murphy has kind of been a part of both because they made the playoffs a couple years ago. Let's not forget that, on the backs of the Sacramento Kings. I get that. I understand what you're saying. Where I would disagree is where, and this is why I'm laying all this out now, the conversation of pout, right? And when things are promised to you, and this happened to me in my career not that long ago, when things are promised to you and they don't work out the same way, and there's also a disconnect within the organization. If the Warriors were all lockstep together as an organization and Kuminga was just on the outskirts, I'd feel differently. But they did not do a good job of being on the same page, and it is very much documented that way. So this is 2023, all right? And this is from my guy, CJ Holmes. After Jonathan Kuminga showed major improvement at both ends of the court during the regular season, there were hopes that the second-year forward was ready to graduate into a breakout star this postseason. Instead, the 20-year-old has spent most of the Warriors' playoff run up to this point on the bench. And he essentially has some version of a sit-down with CJ Holmes. Here's Kuminga. It's tough going through this season and being in most of the time. Then things just flip out of nowhere without you knowing what's going on. Kuminga played 20.8 minutes per game during the regular season, averaged 12.6 points, 3.8 rebounds, 2 assists over his final 10 games while guarding the opposing team's best perimeter player. he played just 36 minutes in the Warriors' 7-game series against the Sacramento Kings, including a DNP in Game 5. Some thought Kuminga would, and this is going to bring back all the memories, some thought Kuminga would get a starting nod for Game 3 of that series when Draymond Green was suspended. But the job went instead to Jordan Poole. In that game, Kuminga played just over 13 minutes, finished with 6 points and 2 rebounds, and was a +6 in his time on the court. When Green returned for Game 4, Kuminga's minutes off the bench dropped to 2 minutes and 51 seconds. All right? So Steve Kerr's talking about matchups, why Kuminga didn't get time. De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, Kevin Huerter. Goes on to write, perhaps Kerr wanted to see more effort from Kuminga on the glass, considering he had just 5 total rebounds in the series, or maybe it had more to do with maximizing minutes for Andrew Wiggins and GP2. Whatever the reason is, the situation has been hard on Kuminga, this number 7 pick in the 2021 draft. This is near almost 3 years ago. Here's more quotes. It's still tough to lock in every single time. It's still tough to smile every single time. But knowing where I've come from, seeing how things that I've actually been through that a lot of people don't know that got me to this point, I feel like throughout my career, throughout my life, I've never been given anything. I've seen so many people just get handed stuff. That's never happened to me. When I was in high school, I was definitely the number 1 player, but it never got handed to me. I had to prove my point. You can't stop the sun from shining, and at some point, the sun is going to come out. That's what keeps me ready every day. That was in 2023.
That's insane. You could tell me that was yesterday.
Yes.
Or in 2023, and I would believe you just the same. That's crazy.
It is. Here's the end of it. At this point in my life, in my career, there's not much to be afraid of. There's no matchup I can't handle. A day is going to come where I get my way. And every time I get my way, things turn out well. So I'm just waiting for my moment. I'm always going to be ready to play.
You could have told me they said that yesterday to Anthony Slater, and I would believe you 100%.
Yep. Now, that was May of 2023, and the writing is on the wall. This dude is a top 7 draft pick. He wants to play. All the other draft picks are playing. They're all playing. That's what he's seeing. You look at everybody ahead of him at that time. Cade Cunningham, all the minutes he wants. Jalen Green, all the minutes he wants. Evan Mobley, all the minutes he wants. Scotty Barnes, all the minutes he wants. Jalen Suggs, all the minutes he wants. Josh Giddey, all the minutes he wants. And then they ended up moving off of him when it didn't work out. Then below him, you get Franz and Davion Mitchell. And obviously Franz ended up being a stud. And Davion, we already know how that went with Davion. But everybody in front of him is getting all the minutes. All the minutes. And he's sitting here. They won a championship in 2022. That's the difference. So that's 2023. Okay, you're the Warriors. You're the blue chip organization. You got the 4 banners, as everybody wants to remind us. Clearly, obviously, they'd have this fixed by 2024, right, Kyle? Well, this is October, and people don't remember this. And we were joking. This was a combo from Shams and Anthony Slater, both in The Athletic. Okay.
Oh, that's right, because Shams used to be at The Athletic at that time.
So
that's
it says
crazy.
January 2024, and then it was updated October 2024, all right? After sitting the final 18 minutes of Thursday's loss to Denver, Jonathan Kuminga has lost faith in Steve Kerr. And the 2021 lottery pick no longer believes Kerr will allow him to reach his full potential. Sources close to Kuminga tell The Athletic, adding another layer of turbulence to an already complex Warriors season. Now, and you're telling me we're reading all of this. Here's the quote. Thursday night was the straw that broke the camel's back. The straw that broke the camel's back. This is in 2024. Just for fun, Here's some quotes from Steve Kerr. He was playing great, Kerr said of Kuminga. His normal time to go back in would have been around 5-6 minute mark. Wiggins was playing great. We were rolling. We're up 18, 19, whatever it was. So we just stayed with him. Then at that later point, it didn't feel like the right thing to do. He had been sitting for a while. So I stayed with the group that was out there. And obviously, we couldn't close it out because they lost that game. They blew an 18-point lead. So with all that being said, the Warriors and Warriors fans are trying to pretend like this stuff is not available on Google. They're trying to pretend like we haven't seen, everyone has seen this thing coming for the last 2-3 years. The last 2-3 years. He lost faith in, who says that? In 2024, I've lost faith in my Hall of Fame coach. He's not working for me. In 2023, Jonathan Kuminga, when am I going to get my time? That's when he was only a sophomore. So
he's 20 at this point?
He was 20 at that point in 2023. So there's no way that the Warriors are going to be able to spin this. And I'm not going to I'm not going to look at Jonathan Kuminga as the bad guy. I'm just going to look at it as a situation that the Warriors were not. Look, it's really hard. And that's why you don't go around Joe Lacob and brag about 2 timeline stuff, because neither of your lottery picks within the last 4 or 5 years, a 2 and a 7, are going to sign a second contract. And the one that is, what was it? Moody at 14, 3 years, $33 million.
Yeah, it's a far cry from the player you had hoped for when what was it? They had, it was Wiseman, Poole, Kuminga, and Moody. That was the 2 timeline guys, right? And not a single one is the one you did give a contract to. You regretted immediately because Draymond punched him. Mm-hmm. The other 2 are not going to get second contracts, which for top 7 picks is a catastrophe. And like you said, Moses Moody is just a role player at this point.
Then you have everything in 2025. Okay, he gets hurt, and the Warriors. He was playing really well. It was all before Jimmy Butler, right? He was playing really well when the Warriors weren't very good, and then he gets injured. The Warriors basically slot in Jimmy Butler, who is better than Jonathan Kuminga. Even me, who's not a Jimmy Butler hater, but they just paid him too much. Even I can admit that Jimmy Butler clearly was an upgrade there. Then Kuminga got better. And we all saw this. We all saw the writing on the wall. Oh, Kuminga's hurt and they're rolling. Can't wait for him to come back and get buried on the bench again.
Well, not only that, but remember, and this doesn't get talked about as much, but he was going to Phoenix. They had a deal before Jimmy Butler got there. He was going to the Phoenix Suns. They had the framework of the deal complete. Kevin Durant was going to go back to the Warriors. Kuminga and Jimmy Butler were going to go to the Suns. I think Wiggins was going to go to Miami. Mm-hmm. That deal was done. And Kevin Durant said, no, thank you. I don't want to go to the Warriors again.
Yeah.
Your deal is ruined. Like, they, not only was he hurt, they actively traded him. They had a deal complete to move him. And then they got Jimmy Butler. And as you mentioned, buried him in the depth chart.
And we're sitting here. And what's happening, and everyone's situation is different, but what's happening with with Malik Monk, it's tough to watch, right? To go from a fan, he is a fan favorite, to be viewed as a trade asset. Life comes at you fast. Devin Carter, same idea. We were talking about Devin Carter and Dalton Knecht yesterday. Neither of them were the number 7 pick in the draft and had promises from the owner. Well, we don't know, but I don't believe had the same promises that Jonathan Kuminga. You're going to lead us one day. And then Steve Kerr, you know what this is? It's basically, and I know I have a lot of fun with this, but it's the Sasha Vezenkov thing. But instead of it being some random dude you signed from overseas, you took him with the 7th pick.
And you tried to sell us that he was going to be the future.
Yes.
And that the 2 timelines was going to revolutionize basketball.
But from a Steve Kerr perspective, okay, cool. He'll eventually fall in line and be a bigger, more athletic Nickeil Alexander-Walker, something like that.
He'll be Aaron Nesmith.
Yes. Meanwhile, Joe Lacob is saying, no, you're going to be a star. You're going to be a star. We haven't seen anything like this. So that's the disconnect and why I put it on the Warriors more so than putting it on Jonathan Kuminga. I don't necessarily agree with what Jonathan Kuminga, how he's going about it, but you go back to all of this where you could almost argue that he's tried to prevent this from happening. He said, just get me out of here. Just get me out of here.
And they tried.
They tried, and then they could have tried harder.
Which I guess I said this yesterday, like, good on them for not having to trade him for Jimmy Butler. I still can't believe the Warriors couldn't get him. I'm sorry, the Heat couldn't get him in a trade, given how easy it is now to get Kuminga. I can't believe the Warriors or the Heat didn't insist on getting him, but he's telling you, right? He told you publicly what it was. And
every single year he has outside of his rookie season where they won the whole thing, 2023, hey, this isn't working for me. 2024, hey, this isn't working for me. 2025, hey, it's not working for me. And now we have a contract situation, which I told you about.
Yeah. Hey, it's not working for me. You agree because you're trying to trade me for Kevin Durant. But now you're coming back and saying, "Oh, it doesn't matter."
This happens all the time with me, and I got to try to fake it because my wife will say something. Maybe she sends me a message during the show. Maybe I'm in the whatever. I'm running around. Then she says, "Oh, we're checking out that preschool today, right?" And I sit on the couch. I turn on. Pardon the interruption. I'm just about to veg out. Allen, we have to go check out that preschool. That's right. That's right. Of course I remember. Come on. I was just double checking to see if they were talking about the Kings, what Wilbon was saying. Come on, let's get ready to go. But she told me already. And it's as if they're acting like this is from out of nowhere. We didn't think Kuminga, we thought we were going to have an exit interview, say we're going to give Jimmy Butler and Kuminga more runway together. And Kuminga was going to ignore the last 2-3 years, which again, we can sit here and say, yeah, he needs to do more dirty work. Right? He needs to be more Nickeil Alexander Walker-y or Aaron Nesmith-y. He does. I agree with that. But at the same time, he's seeing everything that he just went through. And again, the minutes that these guys are getting, and it's kind of a chicken or the egg with him. And he's thinking, I've seen enough. Well, I don't believe you. I don't believe you're going to give me runway with Jimmy Butler. I don't believe you.
And I get the fan that hears all this and it comes off as standoffish or like he's being diva-ish or whatever it is. Like, I get it. He's 22 years old, younger than a lot of rookies right now, and has gone through a lot as basically a teenager, right?
Right.
Coming from the Congo to the United States, to what he was G League Ignite at one point. G League
Ignite. He was out there in Walnut Creek.
Yeah, this guy is 22 years old, but he's also essentially been a professional for the last 8 years. Since he was 14 years old, he's essentially been a professional, and this is just the culmination of years of sacrifice and trying to make it work at every turn, just coming to a head because the Warriors, as you've outlined, just really botched this whole situation.
Again, you don't have to agree with it, but it comes down to, in my opinion, if I'm Jonathan Kuminga, right, or I'm acting as if I'm Jonathan Kuminga, y'all cost me money because we can agree with the 850 or not, as far as Trey Murphy played a role and that's how he ascended, and we're comparing Trey Murphy just because I think, these kind of wing type of players. But I'm looking at Cade. If I have the thought process that Jonathan Kuminga has, Cade got his money, Jalen Green got his money, Evan Mobley is getting his money, Scotty Barnes got his money, Jalen Suggs got his money.
Oh, he got $35 million.
And that brother don't even play.
Just dates Haley Van Lith.
He's literally just there to kick it with Haley Van Lith, which is not a bad life. But he's getting 35.
I think he's getting 35 a year.
That is insanity. So sidebar, that is not a good contract. If that's the case.
Well, that's the thing. They're kind of locked into those 4 guys now. Let me just see here. Jalen Suggs.
It can't be 35.
Jalen Suggs got a 5-year, $150 million deal. So it's
outlandish.
30 average.
Yeah.
You know how much Jalen Suggs will make next year? $35 million.
That's actually insane. But anyway,
it's also a descending contract,
sure.
So like it'll get cheaper. But
sure,
$35 million this year.
Now you get to Josh Giddey, and I think Josh Giddey, he also has a huge argument as far as the Bulls are concerned. Hey, why are you trying to screw me? Right? Why are you trying to screw me? You traded for me. Why? We compared it to Hassan Reddick. So you get to Josh Giddey, who has enough on his tape. Why he's got? I think Josh Giddey has, I would argue, more on his tape than Jonathan Kuminga.
He's certainly been given more runway.
Certainly. And maybe that's his holdup. Well, we haven't seen you, or we have seen you, and we're not impressed.
Yeah, we've seen you only put up numbers on bad teams.
And Jonathan Kuminga, we haven't seen you enough, so that's why we're maybe not fully impressed. But those top 5 guys got their money. Franz got his money, and then after that, when you get into the Davions and the guys that are no longer in the league, sure. But Jonathan Kuminga, based on what we know of him, is thinking, you have cost me money. Because if I was on a bad Pistons team, a bad Houston team at the time, an ascending Cleveland team, but they weren't great, and Cleveland, they just made a lot of moves that just fit properly, a bad Raptors team, a bad Magic team, I would have already been paid. So you kind of owe me money. And because you owe me money, or I believe you owe me money, I'm not going to let you off the hook now because that's money that I would already have. You don't have to agree with Jonathan Kuminga. I don't think he's as good as any of the 5. I think he might be as good as Jalen Suggs.
You just don't like Jalen Suggs.
Well, I just never seen him play. All I saw him is jump on a table 3 years ago at Gonzaga. That's the last time I saw Jalen Suggs, when he had hair.
I guess he's been pretty good, I guess.
Apparently. And I would even argue, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and act like I watch a ton of Scotty Barnes. I just know he had a good season 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, so he was an all-star in 24, and he had a rough year last year.
Yeah, and 2 seasons ago, they were terrible in the skills competition. I remember that.
Yes, but he got a max, right? Being an all-star was good enough for them to give him a max.
So, with all that being said, you're Jonathan Kuminga, and it's like when you watch those movies and somebody owes the drug dealer money, and it turns into, hey, man, well, so-and-so is dead now. So now you owe me that money. And you're thinking, what? How do I owe you the money? The Warriors are sitting there saying, we don't owe you this money because you didn't earn it. And Kuminga is saying, no, you deaded my career for the last 4 years. So you do owe me that money, or you at least owe me the ability to have that freedom to go get that money. And the more I talk about it, Kyle, I understand it's supposed to be good business. And like I said, I talked to somebody within Warriors media who's not high on Jonathan Kuminga. Even they said that deal, they should offer Jonathan Kuminga more money. And that's the least that they can do. And as far as I'm concerned, and I just don't have a Jonathan Kuminga pout narrative because I've seen this whole thing. I think he needs to get a little taste of reality a little bit. And hey, you need to focus on defending. You need to focus on rebounding. You can't just be in your bag all the time.
You did also turn down the Jalen Suggs contract, allegedly.
No, when that was debunked.
I know.
That was debunked. But with that being said, I understand where he's coming from. So just like most things in life, there's a little bit of both sides. But I would say, look, Warriors, you know you didn't put him in a good spot. Just look at everybody else. Look at guys drafted after him. Just you can do right by him now. You can't screw somebody over and then say we also don't want to, because I don't think these deals that have been offered have been awful, right? The Suns, whether that one, I know there was some talk about was whether Mark Spears actually got it right because the Suns don't have as many second-round picks is what he had reported. And he just talks, right? He was just talking on NBA Today. But at the same time, you can't do what you just did and then say, and we're going to stay strong. If you had given Jonathan Kuminga 30 minutes a night for the last 4 years and now this is happening, cool. But you didn't. You got a championship in 2022, and you haven't done anything since besides yo-yo this kid around. You cannot lose this deal without trying to strong arm.
Well, he also doesn't even make sense on your team anymore.
No.
The way it's constructed, it doesn't, like, why is he still there? Like you would much rather go get, I'm not saying Devin Carter, but you'd much rather get a 3-and-D wing that actually makes more sense the way it is now, which it's also so fascinating that now here's Scott Perry and BJ Armstrong coming in and saying, kid, if no one else hears you and sees you, we are here for you, and we see your plight, and we want to give you this runway.
Hey, man, we talk about the second draft stuff all the time. We talk about it all the time. So this is who they're, I wouldn't say hitching their wagon to because they haven't acquired him yet, but he is somebody that they thought it was at least worth. When we talk about the Pacers and how they got back into contention and things like that, that's how they went about it. All right, got to get to the other side, and when we do, Sam Amick gives some updates on the Kuminga situation. Then we discuss the possible handshake agreement with Keon Ellis. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
20, 15, 10-5, diving, is he in? He is!
The NFL is on Westwood One.
Down the middle, it's caught over the shoulder in the end zone. Touchdown, Smith! And that may make it insurmountable. Wow!
The NFL Hall of Fame game live from Canton, Ohio. Chargers and Lions tonight starting at 5 right here on Sacktown Sports.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month. But what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia. I got a tour of their headquarters. I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got to tell you, I am so excited to get this decking project started with Trex Decking and Railings. From the first time I stepped foot in the showroom last week, I was so impressed. So many color options, heat-resistant composite deck. What does that mean? That means I don't have to do any maintenance on it whatsoever. They even have a deck designer, so you can go online and see what your dream deck will look like on your house. Just visit Trex, that's Trex.com to get it started. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Summer's flying by, and that back-to-school checklist, it's growing fast. New backpack? Check. School supplies? Check. Dentist appointment? Let's fix that. Kids Care Dental and Orthodontics is making it easy to cross dental checkups off your summer list fast with priority scheduling for new patients and kid-friendly care that makes them smile. It's one less thing to worry about before fall. Call now or book online at kidscaredental.com. That's kidscaredental.com, because healthy smiles should be the easiest thing to check off your summer list.
Save $12,000 off MSRP. Every new 2025 Silverado 1500 5.3 liter at Maida's Elk Grove Chevy after all rebates. And Maida Chevy has one of the largest selections in the Sacramento area. Plus $12,000 off new Silverado exclusively at the Maida Chevy Silverado Supercenter. Now that's big, huge. See them all at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Excludes work truck. Must trade in 2011 Chevy car or truck. Not available with special financing, leasing, some other offers.
Great deal at Maida.
Hi, Sacramento. It's the No Surprise guys at Bell Brothers Plumbing. Need a water heater or plumbing repair? Call Bell Brothers. Clogged drain? We'll clear it for $67. Plus a free camera inspection, a $250 value. We're fast, on time, and the price we quote is the price you pay. No surprises. Plus, we'll check your plumbing for free. Call Bell Brothers or book at thenosurpriseguys.com.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Kyle, you don't know nothing about no chitty bang, dude.
No, mind your manners. I don't know if I can name you another one.
Okay, I once was a kid. I was in a TikTok black hole yesterday, and Gen Zers were taking requests on listening to quote unquote old songs. And this guy was like, this is pretty good. This is pretty good stuff. I'll never forget. It was Welcome Week at Temp, and the main rapper from Chitty Bang, I can't remember his name, but
not the white one.
No.
Not the white guy.
The white one. His whole thing was freestyling, and he would always, because I saw him do it somewhere else, and he'd say, hey, here's some pieces of paper. Write down whatever in this hat, and I'm going to freestyle. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think he might have had the world record for the longest or most random freestyle, something like that.
Okay.
This is years ago. But he had Welcome Week at Temple, and hey, Chitty Bangs, it was Big Sean was there one weekend.
That's kind of big.
Yeah, and Chitty Bang was there the next weekend, and he did the thing, and we were all waiting, and they're performing all their songs. Hey, who's got a hat? Now write down random stuff, and I'm going to freestyle. And, of course, at that time, we're thinking, dude, this guy's sick. This guy's got bars, man. And that's the last I heard of Chitty Bang. That's literally it.
Really?
I mean, that was 2012, 2013.
Okay.
I don't know how much longer they lasted after that.
I know they had a song in Madden one year because I always remember hearing it played over and over again. But other than that, it's whatever happened to Chitty Bang?
I don't know. That was a request from me to Kyle because of that TikTok that I saw, and it just reminded me of the good old days. Sam Amick was on the morning show, and he had some updates on the Kuminga situation. Let's hear what he had to say.
The part that Kings fans often forget is that the Warriors are obviously in control here. And even if the Kings are willing to go to a number that Jonathan is happy with, and it does seem like the role that he could have with them is a whole lot more enticing than his kind of Warriors frustrating existence. There's still no sign that the Warriors are all that interested in what the Kings would give back. So a bit of a staring contest, and one that, could still result in him going back to Golden State heading into the season.
Sam, on that front, do you get a sense of the Kings' not seriousness in this, but I mean, obviously, I think they're playing it smartly in a way that, look, the Warriors and them haven't agreed yet, so the Kings can kind of have all these other promises out there. Do you think the Kings would be willing to budge more if that's what's keeping the Warriors from doing anything? Do you think Sacramento is – how serious do you think they are, I guess I should say, in their pursuit of Kuminga?
I mean, I think they're serious within the context of their measured rebuilding plan. You know what I mean? And rebuilding is probably too loose of a term. As you guys know, they're trying to still compete, and they're not tearing this thing down by any means. But they, and this could change, but they have not seen him as a guy who, as far as the salary slot, they wanted him as a promising starter on their team, but a guy who, is going to make, probably not north of 20 million. And it could get above that, but, he's a guy that has seen himself. I mean, this is where the agent side is tricky because everybody knows that he's had it kind of, said to him for a long time now that he's a $30 million a year player, potentially. And I know that sounds crazy. In today's NBA, when you've got guys making 60 and damn near 70 at this point, the numbers are wacky. But, so they're serious in that neighborhood, and they're serious without giving up somebody like Keegan Murray or things of that nature. But, it has its limits.
So it feels as if the Kings have reached their limit. And look, every time we think this thing is on ice, something else comes out. I'm looking right here, Kyle. You have Mark Spears. He's at it again. And basically the quote here on NBA TV, I saw GP2 2 days ago. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, waiting on JK. He is, Al Horford is. That's what Mark Spears had to say.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Gary Payton. He'll be there.
Yeah, he's always he's not going anywhere.
He's there, Udonis Haslem now.
He can play. He played a lot last season, but that's where this thing is stuck. And I think that's the Kings saying, hey, we tried to give you a lifeline. The Suns saying, hey, we tried to give you a lifeline. You might not agree with it. That's fine.
Just think about this again. Remember,
it's your problem.
Remember when GP2 won the championship and went to Portland for half a season?
I forgot about that. Yeah.
And then ever since then he's just been like, nope, I'm good.
Yeah.
No more. I'll just stay here forever.
Yeah, and that's the thing that you got to understand. The certain player, it's just like Bruce. He tried to pull the Bruce Brown, but didn't get paid what Bruce Brown got paid.
I mean, he got paid a good amount, but then Portland, if I remember correctly, I think that was the year right before. Did he get hurt? I think he might have gotten hurt.
It was nobody knew that he actually couldn't play or something like that.
Yeah, it was something like that. But then the Warriors got him in 5 seconds for Wiseman, I remember. It was like, oh, okay, he's never leaving ever again.
Yeah, so that is where things kind of are right now with Jonathan Kuminga, and it's probably pretty much it, man. Today we wanted to give you a background of the timeline and how the Warriors ended up here so you don't get gaslit by any Warriors fans. The Warriors completely botched this, and the Jonathan Kuminga camp, they tried. Hey, let's not do this, right? Let's kind of not let it get there, and it doesn't have to get there, and the Warriors let it get there. So it's really what it is. I mean, when you look at what else could come out at this point, the only real options would be that the Kings have upped their offer. The Warriors have decided to accept the current offer from the Kings or the Suns, or some resolution within. Because I think if it's I think if nothing changes from the Warriors front with Kuminga, they don't want to offer more, then he's just going to sit and wait. I'd wait as long as, and I don't know, Kyle, if there's actually a day or what the date is where he has to sign, but whatever that date is.
Yeah, it's October 1st. So I mean, he can hold out later. Just October 1st is when the qualifying offer expires.
If I'm his agent, I say, let's not get into anything that is outside of the norm where we cross over that threshold, but let's take it to that threshold.
Yeah. Whether we're signing the qualifying offer or the 2-year 45 with a team option.
Yeah.
We're waiting until the very last day, because that's, other than making it messy, which we've talked about before, and Anthony Slater talked a bit about yesterday, other than making the whole thing messy, that's their other leverage, is we can just make you wait and wait and wait until literally they're reporting to training camp and announcing Al Horford, DeAnthony Melton, Gary Payton, Seth Curry are all signing with the Warriors, literally the day before training camp.
Yeah. So that's where everything has landed for now. When we return, another possible handshake agreement, this time with Ellis Island. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
20, 15, 10-5, diving. Is he in? He is.
The NFL is on Westwood One.
Down the middle, it's caught over the shoulder in the end zone. Touchdown, Smith, and that may make it insurmountable. Wow.
The NFL Hall of Fame game live from Canton, Ohio. Chargers and Lions tonight starting at 5 right here on Sacktown Sports.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here. Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Get ready for a night out with Jordan Davis. It's Country in the Park 2, Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Along with special guests Mitchell Tenpenny, Locash, Vincent Mason, and Averyana. Make it a family day out with food trucks, games, dancing, and more. Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Sponsored by the California Army National Guard and Hot Valley Brewing. Tickets at CITPFest.com.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
How far do you hit your 7-iron? The answers will tell you which tees to play, according to Josh Sens in Golf Magazine. Deep down, you know you shouldn't be playing from the tips, but it's common for golfers to play from too far back. Aside from higher scores, rounds become a grind and golf becomes much less fun. After several years of research, the USGA unveiled a new data-driven offering to find the proper tees called Best Tees. If you know how far you hit your 7-iron, Best Tees will tell you which tee boxes to play. A typical male golfer should be playing from 6,100 yards and a typical female golfer from 4,400 yards. Most players have a good idea of their 7-iron distance, with average males' distance of 138 yards and average females of 100 yards. Throw out the occasional perfect shot, which travels more than those distances, and concentrate on your average. This will allow you to reach the vicinity of most greens in regulation and let you hit a variety of clubs on approach shots. Leave your ego at home and give it a chance. You'll have more fun. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the best selection of new and pre-owned vehicles. All of them top quality, hand-selected by their general manager, Chuck Dean. You can see for yourself their huge selection at SacSuperstore.com with the lowest prices and the best car buying experiences anywhere. Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140.
on Sacktown Sports.
Oh, no. I got news, and I don't like news like this.
Is it?
When it breaks.
No, not at all. So I was looking for another Chitty Bang song to play. Okay, and you gotta know. You gotta know when to hold them, know when to fold them. I go on Spotify. Kyle, what if I told you?
Oh, God.
What if I told you, and I'm double checking here. Oh, wow. So Chitty Bang released a song July 25th, 2025. They've released about 7 songs in 2025. Oh, man.
7?
Yeah.
So like one a month?
Yeah. They never
got an
stopped.
album?
And what's weird is they have not done albums. It's just singles. Just 2024, a bunch of singles. I am confusion. I don't know what they got going here.
Is it the same guys? I assume it is.
It looked like I see one of them. A lot of them don't have pictures of them, but says about the artist, and it only has the black guy.
So
only one picture.
Maybe he's the Chitty Bang singular.
Oh man, that's rough sledding right there. That's right. And then now we have to listen.
This is making you sad.
Yeah, we don't need to do that. We don't.
What do you mean? Like when Blink 182 got together and did music, everyone loved it again. When Green Day came back,
I played a clip. Yeah,
it's not it.
Yeah, that's. You can't, if you're listening to something that sounds like it's from 2013, if it is from 2013,
Wait,
then
so
it's cool.
They're not even trying to, they're just doing
I only listened to a clip from what came out 4 days ago.
They're just trying to recreate Mind Your Manners.
I'll find a clean version and see if we can come back with it. And maybe you can do it, Kyle. It's called Leave Me Alone.
It's never great.
All right.
Literally, I think everyone was. Like, they're asking you to leave.
No. We're trying.
Yeah, we were.
Just let us listen to your old stuff. Like, that's all we want to do.
Leave me alone. We kind of were.
Yeah.
Do you think they're touring still?
I don't know, Kyle. We got to get back on track.
You think that the Stockton Arena's hosting Chitty Bang anytime soon?
I mean, I'd go. They don't do the new stuff. Only stuff from before.
You think he's still doing the hat thing?
Yes. He's definitely doing the hat thing.
Hey, everybody. Does anyone have a hat?
Yeah. Hey, write down. Okay, moose. All right. I'll rhyme something with moose. Okay. Let's get back to this handshake agreement. And maybe it's more of an understanding. So we've talked a lot about Jonathan Kuminga, and Jason Anderson came out yesterday and said that, or maybe that was 2 days ago, and said the Sacramento Kings are keeping Keegan Murray and Keon Ellis off of the table, all right, in discussions regarding Jonathan Kuminga. So similar to DeMar DeRozan and what's being promised to Jonathan Kuminga there, if you are setting Keon Ellis off limits, you'd have to think that the Kings are very, very confident that they will not be losing him in free agency. You'd have to think that. Now, it's always possible that you read a situation, if Keon ends up being a starter this season and balls out and the Kings get priced out, it's always possible. But the Kings, I guess, based on market, based on the relationship that they have with Keon, if you are making him untouchable in Kuminga conversations, who does have a bit of a ceiling, whether you think that it fits or not, he does have a bit of a ceiling. He was a top 7 pick a couple years back. I would like to believe that the Sacramento Kings have some type of understanding with Keon that hopefully he doesn't even get to free agency. Really, that they wouldn't even get to free agency and mess around. Now, Keon is look, handshake agreements, we've all seen those kind of fall through. If it ain't pen and paper, anything can happen. But it would be, hey, we are going to be at what we feel is the top of the market, and we're going to try to lock you up before you get to free agency. And it's basically going to be a deal that would be the best deal that Keon's agent assumes he'd be able to get. Because if not, why wouldn't you just go to free agency? So I'm not saying there'd be a bit of an overpay, but we are going to ensure that you get the top of the limit as far as what would be out there for you, just in case somebody actually beats that. Now, Keon could say, "Hey, that's cool. I appreciate that. I don't know that we are going to sign early, but thank you. I'm probably going to see how it plays out." Or there might be more to it where Keon said, "Sure, if you bring the right numbers, I won't hit free agency. We'll just extend right here." So something has to be said, or something must have been said to Keon for them to say, yeah, we're not including him. And because it's not about, to me, it's not about Keon being better than Kuminga. It's not about that, because I think he is better than Kuminga, but I think that Kuminga might put you in a better position 3-4 years from now. Maybe not, but maybe he does. It's more so about, we believe we want to acquire Kuminga and still have a young player like Keon Ellis, which means they must feel that they're going to keep the young player Keon Ellis. If they thought that there was a chance that they could lose Keon Ellis, unless this might be their first big miss, and we'll see at the end of this upcoming season, if they do lose him, then I don't know why he would have been said to be off limits. Maybe they want to keep him for a different deal, but we're about to start August tomorrow. So I don't know. It's hard for me to see them saying no to Kuminga, but including Keon Ellis in something during the season, unless it's some type of sweetener in a DeRozan deal. I don't know. I don't see that happening, though.
It wouldn't make sense unless the team that's trading for him also feels confident they're willing to offer him more than anything in free agency, right? Because why would a team acquire a guy who only makes $2.3 million, so you'd have to attach another salary to it?
Yeah.
Or would hit, is going to be an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season, right? Unless it's like hey, the Kings are 12th and they're just trying to get anything they can, even if it's just a couple seconds, they're just trying to get anything they can to tear this thing down. I to your point, I don't see it unless it's like combined with another piece. And the only one that I think a team would want with an expiring deal is Sabonis.
Well, and the other thing I would say, if Keon is just having a crazy season, it's kind of the Mason Miller thing on a much smaller scale. If Keon's having a crazy season, but the Kings just can't put it together, that would be, I don't know, enter the first name that comes in my head. I don't know, the Pistons or somebody that are in a pseudo all-in situation, and they say, we'll give you a protected first for Keon because he doesn't make a lot of money, and assuming Keon's going to sign with us and he's going to be part of our young defensive backcourt, right? But the chances of that happening are pretty slim. So the idea of Keon being put off limits for Jonathan Kuminga, I don't think it says as much about Jonathan Kuminga as it says they're planning on extending Keon Ellis. And to that point, how sure are they that it's going to happen? There has to be some type of understanding.
I guess, although, you've kind of outlined the point as well, but I feel like their chances to sign Keon also decrease if they give Jonathan Kuminga $20 to $25 million per year. I only say that because, you might get younger, but you're not exactly getting cheaper. Yeah. I was trying not to say cheaper, but you're
less expensive.
You're paying market rate to get younger. It's not like you're the Spurs who are paying Wemby $12 million when he should be making 70. It's like you're paying Kuminga 20 to 25. You're paying Keegan probably 25. You're paying Keon Ellis probably 15 to 20. So you're getting presumably market rate because all these people are signing contracts basically within 8 months, right? There's a world where they could have Kuminga, Keegan, and Keon all sign new contracts.
So to that point, how much of an understanding could there be? But all I know is I'd like to believe there is some type of understanding if you are deciding to hold on to a Keon Ellis, less about Keon being better than Jonathan Kuminga in the 2025-2026 season, and more about, do you think you'll be able to hang on to Keon after this offseason and keep him in a Sacramento Kings jersey for the foreseeable future? As far as other teams that might be interested in Keon and Kuminga and others, we have a list of all of the teams in quote-unquote good cap situations for the 2026, heading into the 2027 season. We'll tell you who it is, and should you be worried. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
He digs, he turns, he dives. It is a touchdown. It is a touchdown.
The NFL is on Westwood One.
Uncorks a deep ball downfield into the end zone. A crowd is there, and it is caught. Touchdown. Miraculous!
The NFL Hall of Fame game live from Canton, Ohio. Chargers and Lions. Tonight starting at 5 right here on Sacktown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Carmichael Dave here for my friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Yes, I always tell you they are a family-owned operation, been in business since 81, A+ Better Business Bureau, but it is hot. We are in those Sacramento hot months. I want to focus on them being your second opinion partner. What does that mean? Maybe you've got somebody you're working with or you've worked with in the past in the HVAC world. Guess what? They want to give you a second opinion. How much does it cost? Nothing. You call them up and say, hey, can I get a second opinion on this deal? They come out and they either say, wow, that's a great deal. You should feel better about that. Or they say, we can beat that price. And usually they're going to beat it by a lot. Guess what? You just saved money and it didn't cost you anything to find out. It's a no-lose situation. Go with a trusted company. American Energy, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Jingle Singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140.
You're home for Kings Talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
Hold on, man. And this the hitter, too. Mind your manners.
It's a great song.
Hold on. Can someone confirm this for me? I'm tripping.
About the chitty bang?
No. 916 now. This is on Facebook. Because somebody, I saw this floating around either Instagram or TikTok. Did Chando's actually close all their locations?
Oh, this story is crazy.
Are they? Wait.
Okay, so do you not know about this?
I have this here. After years of serving the Sacramento community, Chando's Tacos suddenly closed its doors on Tuesday, leaving fans of the beloved taco chain surprised and saddened. The owner confirmed that all locations across the capital region are closed, quote, for now. He also hinted that something new is on the horizon, though he didn't give any details about how long the closure will last or when more updates will be shared.
Yeah, it was weird. They're like, Facebook was deleted, their Instagram was deleted, their website went down.
That's not good. We're not going to speculate, but typically
Oh,
not
that
good.
didn't stop me and my roommate from speculating what it is. And again, I can't say it on the air, but that's crazy. No notice. All locations shut down immediately.
What's going on, man? What's happening? First, my public house. Now Chanda. This is what I was raised on these last 2 years.
Welcome to
We're losing recipes.
Welcome to 2025 America, Allen.
What the heck, man?
That inflation hit different, especially when real estate values are what they are.
Public house, Chandos. What's next?
I mean, you say I don't want to speculate, but I'm sure there's something coming up. You seen how many of those Doco locations have kind of switched out in the last few years?
Sacramentans, help me out. Is this normal? Stuff just be closing like this? Once you're still gonna see Instagram reels. Come with me to Chando's Talk. You're still gonna see reels of people floating around, and you're gonna look it up, and that baby's closed.
Okay, but the difference I think here is restaurants changing every 5 years. I saw at one point, I think it was on that Wrexham show, they were like 20% of restaurants will make it 5 years after opening or something. But
oh no, I would never get into that bit. I watch, Bar Rescue and John Taffer. Hey, that'd be cool to have a Nope, don't fall into it. That's how you lose your 401k.
You're a foodie, and even you know this is a terrible
I would
world.
never, ever get into that business. But I might do a food truck, but
I couldn't see it for you.
I wouldn't be in there. I'd be in there to greet people. My mother, and she'd be probably doing better.
So you would buy a food truck and make your mother use it.
For her.
3 generations of styles.
That's right.
All together.
And one cooking.
No, and then your daughter just roaming around is what's going to happen. She's just running around the truck because it's fun, and then your mom doing the cooking. But
all right, Kyle, get the sounder ready. From Peg on the Sack Check, more like Gondos. 916-339-1140 if you have any better jokes.
Okay.
And we're not trying to joke whenever a restaurant closes bad, but I really like Chando's Carne Asada with fire to me.
But I've also not seen very often all restaurants close without notice.
Yeah.
To where like the newspapers have to, or whatever, the TV stations news have to like investigate why it's closed. Instagram gone, Facebook gone, website taken down before anyone could even notice it.
Wow. Well, yeah, we will kind of look up whatever Kyle is alluding to that we can't say on the air, and I'm gonna get to the bottom of this. And now they're closed, but some teams will have open cap space after this.
Senor segue strikes again.
After this upcoming
that was not bad
season.
That was about a 3.
And here is the list that we came up with for teams in good cap situations. And this is, from the Kings' perspective, if they aren't able to lock down Keon Ellis, if they are still interested in Jonathan Kuminga, let's assume he signs the qualifying offer. So guys like that, here is a list of teams that have the space. And this is just a projection. Some things will change. You got the Phoenix Suns, the Lakers, but they're about to extend Luka, so I don't think they'll still be in that conversation. So you got the Phoenix Suns.
I don't know. LeBron's coming off the books.
That's very true. So the Phoenix, if the Lakers got Jake LaRavia and Keon Ellis, I don't know what I would do. I truly don't.
You would be so sad.
I truly don't.
And they would still have your guy Rui.
And Dalton.
This
is crazy. Phoenix will be in a good cap situation now that they've moved off of their guys, or a better cap situation, I should say. The Lakers, Charlotte, Oklahoma City, where, of course, Oklahoma City, they already got their crew. The Spurs, the Wizards, the Blazers, Utah Jazz, Chicago Bulls, the Brooklyn Nets, and the Miami Heat. So out of those teams, Kyle, well, let's do this from the Kuminga perspective and then do this from the Keon perspective. From the Kuminga perspective, obviously Phoenix is in. Funny enough, I don't think Kuminga would want to play with Luka. I think neither of them would want to play with one another.
Yes. I don't know. He liked playing with PJ Washington.
Kuminga is not trying to be. Oh, that was what I wanted to say. When we were talking about how Trey Murphy and Trey Murphy was in this draft too. I think he was the 17th. What was he? He was the 17th pick to Memphis. So Trey Murphy and what he's become. The problem is Jonathan Kuminga got drafted. He's being paraded around the organization as this new high flyer that they really haven't had in a very long time, a very, very long time. And he's just this hyper athlete, and he's on the squad. And then the owner and everybody is telling Kuminga, no, you're gonna be great. You're gonna run this team once Steph is gone. And then 2 years later, Steve Kerr gets on podcast and says, I think he should be Sean Marion. I think he should be Sean Marion. And that's no dig at Sean Marion, but Kuminga's thinking, Kuminga's looking around thinking, who are you talking about?
Sean Marion on the Suns?
Who are you talking? No disrespect to Sean Marion, but I'm not sure. I know you're not talking about me. Yeah, just a gritty guy who the offense is kind of secondary. Kuminga's thinking, I'm trying to find out are you talking about Moody? Moody could be Sean Marion? Because I know you're not talking about me, but that's what I wanted to mention, because you go from being paraded around to the head coach saying, yeah, you should be Sean Marion. That's who you are. That's who I see you as. Getting back to this list, like I said, Phoenix, LA, the Lakers, the Hornets, the Thunder, the Spurs, the Wizards, the Blazers, the Utah Jazz, the Chicago Bulls, the Brooklyn Nets, the Miami Heat. Let's start with Kuminga first. Phoenix is definitely going to be in. I don't know. I don't think the Lakers are going to be in.
Let's just say no.
Yeah, I don't know why the Lakers would be in.
They're gonna try and build around Luka somehow.
The Charlotte Hornets, they don't know what they're doing.
I feel like
sure.
You might have to pay a Charlotte tax, but sure. I mean, that team. What? It's LaMelo, Kneppel, and Brandon Miller. I guess you could slot him in at the 4.
And McNeely.
Oh yeah, Liam McNeely. Don't they have another one of those?
Tejan Salah.
Well, we'll see how he turns out. But don't they have one of those Zach Edey type dudes now? We saw him at Summer League. What is the Creighton guy? Come on, he had a funny name.
Who is it?
Cockbrenner.
Yes, that's who it is.
They got him now. Like, okay, I guess. Kuminga.
Yes, the answer is yes.
Kuminga could start at the 4 on that team.
Sure, why not?
Who else is on the Hornets? They got to have someone else.
So we have 2 teams right now. The Oklahoma City Thunder, no.
Unless it's, again, a team option something. But
the Spurs, I don't think so. I don't see why. I don't see that. So that's 2 no's. The Wizards, there's yes, there's no, there's yes, and then there's sure.
Yeah, what the heck?
Yeah, sure.
That one I feel less confident, though, just because of Sarr, right? Sarr and Kuminga kind of do.
Not to me. Isn't Sarr like 7 foot?
Yeah, I'm just saying, don't they kind of do similar things? I haven't watched it.
They're in.
Not gonna lie, I haven't watched enough Wizards to know the answer to that.
So there's sure. So that's 3. The Blazers literally couldn't tell you.
You had no idea what they're going to look
like. I think the answer is, well, if they move off of Jeremy Grant, you could argue.
No, but he would be a backup because they have.
Then no.
They have.
And then the last version is Kuminga says no.
Yeah. They have Tamani and
No. Shaden.
Old boy Denny.
Yeah, no. Can't go to Portland. Utah? No. We want our first pick, dang it. And that's the only way we're getting young players is through our first pick.
They get AJ. No, Utah can't sign him because they just gave Markkanen $1 million to play the same position.
Chicago?
Yes, Chicago would be in there.
We're at 4. Brooklyn?
They just said no this summer. They could have had him this summer.
They want to see how Michael Porter Jr. cooks, maybe?
Did you see that crazy? Did we talk about that one Brooklyn Nets executive anonymously that was like, on our team, Michael Porter Jr. might not lead the league in scoring, but he's going to get close.
Yeah.
I was like, what an insane thing to say.
So are we adding them?
No, they said no already. So
I don't know. I think we should, but we'll leave it at 4. And the Miami Heat, I'd say yes.
Yeah, they would be in. Although they're also kind of Giannis.
Phoenix, Charlotte, Washington, Chicago, and Miami.
Yeah.
That's 5 possible teams that I would say as far as the Suns are concerned, I would put them in a different tier with the Kings because they have somewhat of a relationship with him already. So I would say that you're battling with 5 teams and you're battling with one other team specifically that has somewhat of a relationship with Jonathan Kuminga. So you're battling with 5 other teams.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm just kind of glancing at the list of cap space teams next year. Unless like the Bucks were like, well, now that we don't have to pay Kuzma, now we are all in. I just don't feel like there's another team that's really in this game all that much. I think it's probably those 5.
Yeah, and these are just teams that could essentially do it straight up because of their cap situations. And not that they're all right there, but they have enough space that they could maneuver without having to move someone. If you include trying to clear cap space for Kuminga, there may be a couple more teams, but we're looking at 5, 6, including the Kings, 1 that showed interest. I guess it's more than 1. The Kings have shown the most interest. Suns second, and then a couple notches down would be the Bulls, the Heat. So some teams that maybe Kuminga is familiar with, and then you have the Suns, who is pretty familiar with, and then you have the Kings, who I'd say he's very familiar and comfortable.
Well, then Mark Spears saying wants to go to.
Right. And Kyle, we have that in case people missed it yesterday. Let's fire that up, Kyle. Mark Spears saying that. And you know how people love hearing this? Kuminga wants to go to Sacramento. Here it is.
Of course.
He wants to go.
He wants to go.
He wants to go. And the Kings are offering a starting spot.
Okay.
Power forward next to Keegan Murray, next to Sabonis. He's talked on a Zoom call with Scott Perry, as you know, the GM, BJ Armstrong, the assistant GM, and also with their head coach.
Okay.
So he's in.
Right.
He wants to go there, but I think that first, the Warriors don't like the first. And then the Suns, I heard they're like offering Royce O'Neal in 4 seconds and Nick Richards. That's just not pretty enough.
I saw a lot of people say that's actually not a bad deal for as far as the Suns are concerned. I think a lot of people were saying that's a better deal than what the Kings were offering.
Well, it is. The only thing is Royce O'Neal is 3 years, which normally would be a plus, but in this economy,
right,
no one wants long-term commitments.
Yeah. So that's what Mark Spears had to say. We're looking at about 5 teams, 6 including the Kings, that are interested or that would have the cap space, and the Kings don't technically have the cap space right now.
They would next summer
because of the DeMar DeRozan
and
yeah.
I mean DeMar DeRozan and
there's assumptions to be made too. These have no assumptions. This is just what I saw on NBA.com.
But also, like, if they really wanted to make cap space, they could do it, right?
And that's why we're at 5, and then you put the Kings in the camp of they can make the cap space if they want.
Yeah, DeRozan comes off the books. You can do the extend Zach LaVine thing.
Bring Valanciunas back just to dump his contract again.
You could still trade Devin Carter, and that's $5 million. Like, you can still make it work.
Yeah, so those are the teams cap space wise, and then you have the teams like the Kings and others that may be interested and would have to work around as far as the cap space. Now let's do Keon Ellis with the same list. As this is different because it depends on where this team currently is in the process. Phoenix Suns, and we know Keon is a good plug and play type of guy. Phoenix Suns, I would say yes. Yes. It's going to be hard to find somebody that doesn't need Keon. Right?
Yeah.
Everybody kind of needs a Keon, but would they seek him out? Phoenix Suns, now that I put it like that, I'd actually say no, because I don't know what the Phoenix Suns are doing. So I'm going to say no. The Lakers, hell yes, without a doubt.
There's better Marcus Smart.
Yeah.
Which is a funny sentence to say now.
The Hornets, no. Man, I don't know.
Is he going to back up Con Kneppel?
No, for the Hornets.
Yeah, probably not for them.
Thunder, I don't think so. I mean, I'd have to relook at some with the Carusos and Lou Dort's.
Caruso's got a 4-year deal.
Yeah.
That's a no for them.
So we're at one right now. We're at one with the Lakers. And it's not that the Phoenix Suns don't need Keon. I just don't feel comfortable assuming that the Suns, if it's not a name we've heard, the Suns only like star power.
Yeah.
That's all they like. So we got the Lakers right now.
And the Suns also like guards.
Yeah.
Specifically 2 guards.
Right.
Specifically 2 guards that can't play any other positions.
Yeah. Well, that might bring him back into the fold here. But let's stick with the Lakers for now. The Spurs, no. They got too many guards.
I think it depends, right? Like, at some point, the Spurs are going to have to clear some of those guys out, right? Vassell and Keldon Johnson.
They're just there.
Yeah, Harrison Barnes. Eventually, those guys are going to have to go.
He might. I mean, I'll say yes for the Spurs. Why not?
I'd say they're interested. I'm not saying they would do it.
So I'd say yes on the Spurs. The Wizards, no. Again, he's 26. They're trying to stink. I don't know why that.
They also just drafted Trey Johnson, who's the same position.
Portland, no. They're trying to get rid of 2 guards.
Yeah.
So I don't think Portland,
yes, if they don't bring back Shaedon Sharpe. Like, I assume the money they would spend on a Keon, they're just going to give to Shaedon Sharpe.
And they have 2 more guards with Drew Holiday. They're
Scoot,
not,
Dame.
No, I forgot about Scoot.
How can you forget about Scoot? He's the starter.
Is he?
If he's not, we got a Kuminga situation there.
Utah, no.
No,
he helps too much. They're trying to lose. Chicago, if I'm going to say yes to Chicago, I'll say yes to Phoenix too.
Chicago, hey, Kevin Huerter comes off the books, so I guess
no.
You have...
This is a really weird situation because Brooklyn...
Jordy.
Why?
Jordy.
But why? We're trying to lose.
Maybe Brooklyn ends up as the 12 seed next year.
I could see I could be talked into Brooklyn. So that's 3. And the Miami Heat, of course.
Yeah,
yes.
that's a Heat culture guy. Davion Mitchell, Keon Ellis backcourt.
So it's not. So it's 4 that we view as realistic. And you could throw Phoenix in there if you want to make it 5. It's 4 that are realistic. But in reality, any team would like a Keon Ellis. It's just, hey, do we feel like we need to be paying for a 26, 27-year-old Keon Ellis right now?
Right.
So it's a different situation than Kuminga.
And these are just unrestricted free agent situations, right? Like, if I were to think of the teams right now that I think could use Keon Ellis the most, right? Like, what would be the teams that would maybe pry him away from Sacramento? I think of the Lakers, to your point. The Pelicans could use a defensive guard.
They got Alvarado.
That would have to be a sign and trade, but to your point, a team like Memphis would love a Keon Ellis.
Yeah.
like teams like that, but it would have to be sign and trades.
That's a great point, because so we came up with 4. Somebody said the Nets just drafted a bunch of guards. So we came up with between 4 and 5, depending on Phoenix and Brooklyn, right there from a cap space perspective. Then you include a sign and trade perspective. Kyle, I feel like that bumps up at least 5 more teams. I feel like that puts you at about 10 teams that could have interest in Keon.
Have interest, yes, but I also feel like how many of those teams is his role going to make more sense than on the Sacramento Kings, right? Because the Sacramento Kings right now would have him essentially alternating with Zach LaVine, and a handful of times where they're both going to play together, like when DeRozan's off the floor. But I also feel like any team could use a defensive 2. It's just how many teams are going to pay a premium for it, right? Oklahoma City was willing to pay a premium for Caruso, but A, Caruso is better than Keon Ellis by a good amount, and B, they had all the peripheral pieces already in place, right? So I mentioned New Orleans earlier. Jordan Poole is starting at shooting guard for the Pelicans. They could use a backup 2 who could defend like that. But are the Pelicans at this stage, with all they're paying to Zion and Trey Murphy and an Alvarado extension and a Herb Jones $20 million extension they just paid, are we sure the Pelicans would pay another $20 million for a Keon Ellis? That's kind of the trade-off conversation. There's a lot of teams that might be interested. How many of them would be willing to pay a premium for, you keep comparing him to Mason Miller. How many are going to pay a premium for a position that is seen as a luxury?
916-339-1140. Let's get to Chase, who wants to be part of the conversation. What's up, Chase? What you got for us?
How are you guys doing today?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I got a question for you. I was firing up the trade machines, and I thought about, what could the Warriors want from us to get Kuminga here? Because we need to get younger. We need star upside. I was thinking, what do you think if we would say, let's finally give up on Sabonis? Because I think Sabonis would be uniquely suited to fit the Warriors lineup because they're in desperate need of a starting center, and they're trying to win. So why not say, hey, let's give up Sabonis and a protected first, and then we could get Kuminga on a near max salary plus an additional salary filler to get Kuminga over here and get ourselves much younger to propel ourselves for the future. I just want to get your thoughts on that.
Thanks for the call, Chase. Well, I think the problem is, again, when you're in the trade machine, you see that it's Steph at 60, Jimmy at 50, Draymond at 20-something, and then there's just a drop-off. It's Moses Moody at 11. It's a huge drop-off because it goes from about 25 to Moses Moody at 11 and Buddy Hield at 9. So even if, because I think that Sabonis for Jonathan Kuminga, and you brought up a first, there's no way, maybe you meant the Warriors would send a first, but Sabonis in a first for Jonathan Kuminga that is a very lopsided trade. The Warriors would do it in a heartbeat, but money-wise, it wouldn't make sense because I don't even know who else the Warriors would. They would just have to send their whole bench. They would have to send their whole bench, and I still don't know if it would be enough. And where the Warriors are at right now and what we've kind of been laying out with how they are trying to tell people they have leverage, but they don't really have leverage, there's no reason to give up Domantas Sabonis. Now, I'm not opposed to moving off of Domantas Sabonis, but I would just try to get Jonathan Kuminga in a different way. I just don't think the Warriors have enough. I think the Warriors would love to have Domantas Sabonis on the team, but the Warriors do not have enough to acquire Domantas Sabonis I don't think from asset perspective or just a straight up salary perspective. I think that's the issue because it would have, for Domantas Sabonis, and I know people were joking about Desmond Bane being worth more, but we're talking about not moving Keon Ellis for Jonathan Kuminga. If it's Domantas Sabonis, I need Kuminga. I need at least one first. I need Pajemski. I need the whole bench. I need the whole Warriors bench and a couple first rounders, at least one first rounder.
I'm throwing it in the old trade machine just to see if we can even conceive of such a trade here. So I'm going to go Kuminga, Moses Moody, Buddy Hield, Pajemski, and Trace Jackson Davis and see if that gets it over.
And are any of those guys going to be better than Domantas Sabonis?
No. Let's see.
Maybe Kuminga. Maybe.
That's the only way it would work is Jonathan Kuminga, Buddy Hield, Moses Moody, Pajemski, and Trace Jackson Davis, which would leave the Warriors with what is this?
Do they even have enough for
They would have
roster?
7 players.
Yeah.
But again, they're going to add Al Horford and D'Anthony Melton and Seth Curry and Gary Payton, and they would only have 10 players.
And I'm not opposed to moving off of Domantas Sabonis at all. I just don't think it needs to happen in a Jonathan Kuminga situation. Somebody, they just need more assets, something like that. And I need 2 bets. I need Jonathan Kuminga and I need another bet to see if one of them pop in a second draft situation, similar to SGA, but obviously SGA was on a different level. The best and worst lineups. Let's talk about the actual team, okay? And the best and worst lineups from last season. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
20, 15, 10-5, diving. Is he in? He is.
The NFL is on Westwood One.
Down the middle, it's caught over the shoulder in the end zone. Touchdown, Smith, and that may make it insurmountable. Wow!
The NFL Hall of Fame game live from Canton, Ohio. Chargers and Lions tonight starting at 5 right here on Sacktown Sports.
A couple years ago, I was in the bathroom at the airport when I dropped my smartphone in the toilet. Not smart. I was multitasking when I should have been focused on the job at hand. Embarrassing, but I'm not alone. According to Google, 7 million other multitaskers accidentally dropped their phones into the bowl last year. A gentle reminder that right now you can get yourself a brand new Samsung Galaxy A36 absolutely free with a $35 plan from Pure Talk. The A36 comes with scratch-resistant Gorilla Glass and a battery that'll last all day, along with unlimited talk, text, and data on America's most dependable 5G network. In other words, it's tough and smart. Something to think about next time you're multitasking and the necessary. Just dial pound 250, say keyword Mike Rowe to get your free phone today. You can make the switch in just 10 minutes. That's pound 250. Say Mike Rowe to switch to a no-nonsense smartphone and a company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
At Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money because you're in charge. Today, you're going to pay down your credit card bill. But you decide when you'll pay it. Before the due date, so those interest charges don't get you. But you decide if you pay it in full. But you definitely should, because again, interest charges. With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. Then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Get ready for a night out with Jordan Davis. It's Country in the Park 2, Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Along with special guests Mitchell Tenpenny, Locash, Vincent Mason, and Abriana. Make it a family day out with food trucks, games, dancing, and more. Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Sponsored by the California Army National Guard and Hot Valley Brewing. Tickets at CITPFest.com.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Dan Favale joins us in 30 minutes of Bleacher Report. Going to talk to Dan about some of his articles he's put out about the Kings, Jonathan Kuminga, where he thinks the Kings should go next, and more. That is coming up at 1 o'clock. I saw Sam Amick say on the morning show that there's still no market for Zach LaVine. There's nobody that thinks that would have changed in the offseason, right? I mean, ask that question, and I'm not saying Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross, but I don't expect that to move at all unless, I guess, honestly, there's another injury. Zach LaVine gets off to another hot start. I'm talking MVP ladder type, or both. Or all maybe not MVP ladder, but all-star conversation.
In the West, too.
Or both. That's I don't expect anything to change on Zach LaVine.
Or you're willing to take on someone else's $40 million contract.
Yeah.
Which it could happen. I'm not saying it won't. It's just the easiest path was probably a Michael Porter Jr. or a Paul George. And now Paul George's foot is apparently broken, or knee, or whatever he had surgery on that might keep him out of training camp. And Michael Porter Jr. is apparently going to be the leading scorer in the NBA on the Brooklyn Nets, according to one anonymous Brooklyn Nets executive. So I don't know. I just think he's going to be on the team all next season. That seems to be the easiest way to explain it to Kings fans. And he's going to be the quote unquote number one scoring option, right? He's going to be the number two, but because it's Sabonis, he'll be the number one deferred to scoring option.
From the 279, Allen Stiles, my full government name. Allen Stiles, why do you hate Domantas Sabonis? Why? I don't hate Domantas Sabonis. I said don't trade him. We took the call from Chase.
Yeah, this was Chase. This wasn't Allen.
Chase.
This is all Chase's fault. I only did the tankathon. I only locked myself in the trade dungeon, because, it's kind of my thing now. But also just to see if we could even do it. Is it even possible? And apparently it was, but they would have Guy Santos starting at power forward.
This was Chase, not me. All right, 916-339-1140. That was from the 279. Okay, we have this list, and the only caveat I have, this is from Kings Muse. The only caveat I have on this list, this is the Kings' most used lineups last season and their net rating. We can do a little bit of deeper digging on this, but they don't have the amount of minutes that the lineups played. They just have the lineups and they just have the net ratings. But we do know that these were the five most used, the five most used lineups in 2024, 2025, and their net ratings. Okay, I'm gonna do it in order of worst to best. All right, the worst lineup out of the five most used lineups in 2024, 2025. Featured, and this is bad. This is why the starting lineup had to change. Malik Monk, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, and Domantas Sabonis. They were a minus 9.4 net rating. A minus 9.4. That's awful. That is very bad. A minus 9.4. That was when Malik was starting after the Beam Team 2.0. That was Beam Team 2.0.
Or interim Beam Team.
Interim Beam Team. Malik, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, Domantas Sabonis. A minus 9. And that's worse. I'm going to tell you what the second quote-unquote worst was. Not even close. That was horrendous. Minus 9.4. The fourth on this list, okay? So basically fourth best or fourth, however you want to say it. So the second worst at positive 0.9, positive 0.4. De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, Domantas Sabonis. So whether you want to put it on Mike Brown or whoever, there are a lot of people including Domantas Sabonis, when he said it's about time, Malik Monk in that starting lineup did not work. It didn't work. It didn't work. Malik, De'Aaron, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, Domantas Sabonis, the second worst, okay, net rating for out of the 5 most used lineups in 2024-2025. Let's go to number 3, and we'll call this, it's the middle. All right, number 3, you have at positive at plus 0.9, Keon Ellis, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, and Domantas Sabonis. So obviously, this is why I said the minutes used, and I guess it still is the most used lineups, but that's basically when they were playing pretty well for that little bit of stretch during the end of the season when Malik was injured and then Malik rode the bench once he returned. So that was the third best, if you will. Keon, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, and Domantas Sabonis. The second best, now we shoot all the way to plus 9, positive 9.1, okay? And this is a doozy. This is what I'm saying. I need to see how many minutes this lasted, all right? So there's a little caveat with all this, a little asterisk, because the second best, De'Aaron Fox, Kevin Huerter, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, Domantas Sabonis. Because that was just the starting lineup for the first, 20 games.
Well, it wasn't even that many because then DeRozan got hurt and Keegan got hurt and Jay Crowder started a game.
I refuse that's the second best lineup. I need to see how many minutes they played.
I guess.
Or what the minimum was to be on this list.
I mean, this is just the top 5 most used lineups. I mean, it is 5th on the list. I think this is in order by most used.
I see what you're saying. I
think this is the 5th most frequently used lineup because it would make sense considering the only difference between the most used and the 5th most used is just that Huerter to Monk starting lineup flip.
And last but not least, the good news about the best lineup out of the top 5 most used lineups. Number 1, it's better by 10 as far as the net ratings is concerned. And number 2, all of these players are still on your Sacramento Kings. The best lineup. Give it to me one time. Malik Monk. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Give it to me 2 times. Keon Ellis.
I really just be chilling for real.
Give it to me 3 times. DeMar DeRozan. Give it to me 4 times. Keegan Murray.
Oh, what's up, Sacramento?
And give it to me 5 times, Domantas Sabonis.
We have the meat.
Malik Monk, Keon Ellis, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, Domantas Sabonis, a plus 19 on the season. They're number 3 based on how much they were used, but number 1 by a large margin at plus 19, a positive 19 net rating. Kyle, it's that simple. This is your starting lineup going into the season, right?
Zach LaVine on the bench.
And you know what? This game right here, that right there, I'm wondering how much came from after they traded De'Aaron Fox, right? So this was the lineup. De'Aaron Fox was injured during a lot of that winning streak. Then they traded De'Aaron Fox and they went out and they beat down the Timberwolves again. And that was before Zach LaVine had arrived. And we sat there and we took calls on it that said, man, they could have got some young talent back and moved on from De'Aaron Fox instead of adding Zach LaVine. And this is why we watched this lineup be pretty darn good. Now they need a point guard for sure, but this lineup had some juice to it.
I guess you're right. And it seems like, they had a lot of mixing and matching when it came to the lineups. Just because remember the end of the season, it was like Keegan missed 3 games, and then Sabonis was out for 7 games or whatever it was. So I think we are talking about a really small sample size, probably for most of these.
That's fair,
except for I think that the first 2, I think those 2 kind of got a good bit of run. But I would say that could be a good second unit. That could be a good unit.
You need a point guard.
That could be a good unit in spots, right? I just don't see a world where that unit's going to play a lot this year unless, we come back and those numbers bear it out. But let's say they don't sign Westbrook. Let's say they don't get Kuminga. Let's just say these are the 15 that they end up with. This is essentially your starting lineup minus Schroeder at the point, who will probably alternate with Malik as presently constructed, and Keon, who will alternate with Zach LaVine. So you absolutely could play that lineup pretty consistently at times throughout the year. I'm not saying they're going to start with it, but even if you said the same lineup but swap in LaVine instead of DeRozan, I think you're looking at a very solid group there.
Yeah. So how much will we see it, and how much should we put on? I'm just looking here, Kyle, just out of the best, and I get it. Obviously, these amounts of minutes, they clearly matter, but just as far as some of the best lineups that you've had together, you're just looking here at some of them. For example, Indiana, they played the most minutes together, and they were at a 13.4 for their net rating. Their 5, just a combination of their 5 that I have ranked based on the amount of minutes they played, and then I'm just looking at certain net ratings. Jokic and the crew, they were at an 11.3. So obviously 19 is insane, and it's a much smaller sample size. But just to give people an idea of what are realistic net ratings and what sounds good and what doesn't. 19 is ridiculous. For example, Minnesota, they played 186 minutes with Mike Conley, Rudy Gobert, Julius Randle, Anthony Edwards, and Jalen McDaniels, and they were at a net rating of 17. That's insane. That's insane. So that's the type of stuff that we're talking about. When we return, as Ja Morant nearly falls, it's time to have the summer conversation about what these guys should and should not be doing during their time off. Also, DeMar DeRozan was on 7 p.m. in Brooklyn and had some crazy stories about being an unk in the NBA. TC, we got callers, we got texters. We'll get to you as well. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
20, 15, 10-5, diving. Is he in? He is.
The NFL is on Westwood One.
Down the middle, it's caught over the shoulder in the end zone. Touchdown, Smith. And that may make it insurmountable. Wow.
The NFL Hall of Fame game live from Canton, Ohio. Chargers and Lions. Tonight starting at 5 right here on Sacktown Sports.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity. Introducing the 5-year price guarantee. One internet price, 5 years guaranteed. Well, by his standards, Lawrence Butler isn't having the kind of season he expected, but still, Lawrence is just 25, and he's only played the equivalent of 2.5 seasons in the minor leagues. And now he's on a pace to become the first athletic since Coco Crisp back in 2013 to go 20-20, 20 homers and 20 stolen bases.
Welcome to Dugout Radio, the undisputed home of Boomtown Baseball.
The Wi-Fi is booming with Xfinity, baby. Our next caller is Stacy. How do you stay locked in on every pitch and play?
We stream it all live on Xfinity Internet with low lag, 99.99% network reliability, and speeds faster than a base runner beating the throw to home plate.
I stream on my TV, tablets, even my smart fridge. Smart fridge?
With all those games, we gotta refuel.
Stream live baseball with Wi-Fi built for the biggest moments. Xfinity. Restrictions apply. Actual speeds vary, not guaranteed.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave here for Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room, inviting you to come join them every Wednesday for their midweek madness drawing, giving away $2,000 in total cash starting at 6 p.m. It's a safe and friendly environment, plenty of well-lit parking available, and it's conveniently located right there in downtown Sacramento. And remember, best food, best service, best games, 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Mark your calendars for a stacked lineup of live shows. It all starts August 23rd with Gypsy Kings at Hard Rock Live Sacramento and Super Soul Fest featuring Jeffrey Osborne at Thunder Valley. Then get ready to laugh with Weird Al Yankovic at the Lake Tahoe Amphitheater at Caesars Republic on August 24th and comedian Taylor Tomlinson at Thunder Valley on August 29th. Flashback to the ultimate throwback with Lost 80s Rewind at Thunder Valley on August 31st. And Fight Night fans, don't miss Thunder Showdown Boxing on September 6th, also at Thunder Valley. Country star Darius Rucker takes the stage at the Lake Tahoe Amphitheater at Caesars Republic on September 13th, followed by comedian legend Eddie Griffin on September 19th, and Classic Rockers 38 Special on September 21st, both at Hard Rock Live Sacramento. Then it's Keith Sweat at Hard Rock Live Sacramento October 5th. And country fans, see David Nail live at Goldfield Roseville October 9th. Get your tickets now and find more info at sacktownsports.com.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
Seems like back to school happens earlier each year.
First day of school coming in hot.
And this year, my kids had massive supply lists.
Folders, notebooks, and pens. Oh, the humanity.
But Staples had everything I needed, with some items just 25 cents.
Watch the small print.
No. My back to school budget was saved by Staples Easy Button.
Everything for school, in stock and as low as 25 cents. Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app. NC 23 while supplies last.
At Kids Care Dental and Orthodontics, we're all about summer smiles. During July, we're having our Summer Smiles special with $300 off braces or Invisalign with no money down if you start treatment in July. And you'll have a chance to win Legoland tickets. Go to kidscaredental.com for more information.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140
on Sacktown Sports.
Dan Favale of Bleacher Report joins us in 15 minutes. We got a lot of questions to ask Dan. We got to wrangle up all of his articles. Dan, you always got the Kings in these rough articles, so we'll have some fun with Dan at 1 o'clock, and we'll get his thoughts on Jonathan Kuminga, 916-339-1140. We're about to discuss some very important topics as far as what these guys should and shouldn't be doing during their time off. But first, let's get to TC, who wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, TC? What you got for us?
Alan, what's up, man?
How you doing, man? How you living? What you got?
Hey, just vibing, excited about everything going on. So I'm going to go back to the Miami trade with DeRozan, right? Mm-hmm. So we're going to go back, not to Terry Rozier, but we're going to go ahead and go Wiggins, Jaime for DeRozan straight across. You can take it to the machine, it worked. And I think that's a win-win for both seasons, right? Because not only you respect, and everybody wants that respect for the Hall of Famer DeRozan. Okay, bro, here's your respect. We get you to a contender where you was looking at before in Miami. And also, Miami, you get you a guy, you get Wiggins out of there, y'all had him in trade talks, and you get another guy to help Bam and Hero. Also, we get that young wing and Jaime. That's what we really worried about. And the money, I'm cool with the 2 years with those. They both got 2 years left on their deal. I can deal with 2 years of Wiggins. I can deal with 2 years of Jaime because they only going to add to what we got.
Thanks for the call, TC. Great stuff as always. I know a lot of people aren't big on Wiggins. I've told y'all before, I think he could help. I don't know that we'll see 2022 Wiggins again, but I still think that he could help based on what the Kings seem to be trying to do. Do I want Andrew Wiggins if they're looking to get into a rebuild at some point? Then no. But based on the Kings attempting that 6 seed, then I would say I think Wiggins can help.
Yeah, and we've had this trade before. It's obviously been a couple months, so we can revisit it again. The idea of Wiggins for DeRozan, and Wiggins and Zach LaVine played together for 3 years in Minnesota. They were both rookies together, so, good relationship there, have wanted to play with each other again. Miami says no to that deal. Just Miami would have no length. The fact that they traded for Norman Powell, I think, takes them out of the DeRozan conversation. I guess you could see a path for them to go the Malik Monk route, but even that, I don't think they would go with at this point, just because they have Jovic, and I think they would rather just keep trying to make Jovic work than, just getting Malik Monk at $18 million a year and 3 years on the deal. So Wiggins is going to probably play some 4 on that team this year. I think Bam and Khalil Ware are going to play together at times, but Wiggins is probably going to be playing some 4 on that team. The trade works, and we've talked about it before. It's just at this point, Miami says no, and it looks like Stephen Kwan just got traded to the Dodgers. Damn.
No.
Oh, just crushing. Jesus. Oh, he was supposed to go to the Padres and the Giants.
But who is their left fielder right now?
Who, the
Dodgers? Isn't it? Didn't they just sign
Teoscar? Yeah. Well, let me just pull up the Dodgers. Maybe he'll play right field. I don't know.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that put a damper on it. Anyways, TC.
Well, they just ran Conforto. They were running, so I don't know. Oh, Teoscar was in right. They had Conforto in left.
And Mookie at shortstop. Jesus. Ugh.
So they're basically, hey, Conforto, thank you, but please leave.
Yeah, thanks for your time, Conforto. Wow, no one wants Conforto anyway. The Giants said goodbye. The Dodgers said goodbye. Oh, and wow. That doesn't seem right. That can't be. These got to be fake, right?
I don't know. So MLB Network, because we're watching.
Is MLB Network just messing with us?
We're watching it on mute. Segment? Yeah, I think you're right. So let's just dial that back.
Yeah. Anyways,
Kyle, come on, man.
I'm sorry. I just saw it. They shouldn't be flashing tweets on the screen that look like trades.
We need to have the captions on. No, Stephen, come on, Kyle. He's still on the Guardians.
Okay, that scared me. They flashing random tweets on the screen.
How are they this bored with the trade deadline?
They can't do that. You can't just flash trades up on the screen and just make it seem like it's not real.
Wow. Okay, where were we?
Oh yeah, Wiggins. We're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Speaking of DeRozan,
I'll help you out here, Kyle. DeMar DeRozan was on the 7 p.m. in Brooklyn podcast, which is Carmelo Anthony's podcast. And this is just kind of a funny note about being an OG. DeMar on the difference between young players now versus when he was their age. I seen a bleeper put his name in the Twitter search at halftime to see what they were saying. He said, and I don't know if this was on the Kings or not. That's really the question, because I don't think it would be on the Kings. There's only one person I think would do that, and I'm not saying who I think it would be. I don't think this person is that young.
No,
on the Kings.
I agree with you.
You're talking about, there's only one person on the Kings that would do that.
I'm a pizza guy.
No, you didn't say anything.
And he's not even super, super young. But this could have been on the Bulls.
Should we go back to the 2024 Bulls and see who could possibly have been that player?
209 says Fox. There's no way. That was 100% Fox, no doubt about it. But Fox's whole shtick is that he doesn't care.
Yeah.
That's his whole, I don't know if it's true or not, but that's his whole shtick. So maybe it would be Fox because he really does care.
Do we think Patrick Williams? Do we think it was him?
No.
Dalen Terry?
Who?
Terry Taylor?
Who?
Wow. Actually,
Terry, is that the third Rogers? Tyler, Terry, and Terry?
No, you know what's funny? I just realized this also. The 2024 Bulls had Dalen Terry, Terry Taylor, and Torrey Craig.
Oh,
that had to get confusing.
It must have been because I mean,
the DeSumo.
I don't know these guys the same way I know the Kings.
I mean, there's only but so many players it can be. You think it was Javon Carter?
No, because how long was he with Chicago?
I think 3 years.
because I'm wondering if it could have happened in San Antonio.
Let's go back to the Spurs were still doing a lot of old guys back then. Let's go to the 2021 Spurs and see if we can find somebody.
I think it had to have been the Kings. And that only leads us back to a couple people here.
I'm sorry, I just thought of a funny thing. How funny would it be if it was Keegan? Like secretly Keegan is just scrolling Twitter.
You know who it could have been? It's kind of obvious. If you think about it, basically the youngest on the team, there's a reason for him to want to be searching based on how things have gone. It's obvious based on what he's saying, a young player. So think about a young player on the Kings, and we're not going to say his name, but you got to play the correct sounder.
I'm not following you. I'm not really figuring it out.
A young player on the Kings who would have a reason to go on Twitter to confirm, wow, they do like me. They do actually.
God blessing me with his body.
I'm not saying.
I wasn't sure.
It's him or the other drop.
It's either him or Keita Bates Diop.
It's him, the other drop, or it's De'Aaron Fox and his whole shtick is false. Those are the only three options, in my opinion.
I mean, it doesn't really matter.
As he's checking.
But it doesn't really matter.
But he's the old guy on the Spurs.
I mean, it doesn't really matter.
He's the old guy on the Spurs.
Yeah, there's no way it was De'Aaron Fox. But
209 says it was Sasha. You know what? I can believe it.
DeRozan and Sasha never played together. Oh. This is just a funny one. I was just going. Devin Vassell was a rookie on those Spurs teams. Lonnie Walker is a good one. I think Lonnie.
Yeah, am I still in the lead?
Yeah,
that's what he's checking.
Could be Lonnie Walker, but this one I kind of forgot. Trey Lyles was DeRozan's teammate in.
I think it
San
happened
Antonio.
in San Antonio. I think it happened in San Antonio.
I mean, there's not that many. Wow, another funny one. Guess who else is reunited together? DeRozan and Drew Eubanks were teammates on the 2021
I think
Spurs.
it's got Devin Vassell. I don't know Devin Vassell, but I just don't think it was anybody on the Kings, or it was the two guys that I mentioned. That's it. You don't think the Bulls? This feels like a Bulls thing to do, though. Maybe Matas, but he wasn't there with Matas.
No, he never did.
So, all right. Dan Favale kicks off the 1 o'clock hour. We talked to Dan. We might have to talk to Dan about. So I have a collection of the articles Dan has written about the Kings, and we're going to ask him about that. And of course, we're going to get into Kuminga talk and where the Kings should go next. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wow, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
If you didn't think skipping breakfast was a big deal, you'd be right. Before. But now, Wendy's has Buck Biscuits. We're talking sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit, bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit, or even the Honey Buddy chicken biscuit for just $1 each. Seriously, you can get all three if you want. They're just $1, so you'll never skip breakfast again. If you're smart. Breakfast for $1? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Price of participation may vary. Limit 5 qualifying items per transaction. Not valid in the combo while supplies last.
The Giant Summer Sale is here. Get giant savings on our giant selection only at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? Save during the Honda Summer Event and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. See all our specials at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda. Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop. Saturday, August 9th, it's the Night of Champions at Stockton 99 Speedway with a huge fireworks show. Meet past champions during the exclusive autograph session. Then buckle up for pro late models, mini stocks, and more. Tickets start at $20. Get yours now at stockton99.com. Be there.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No, we tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first, because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
KHD HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140. Live and local.
It's Allen Stiles
on Sacktown Sports.
1 o'clock on the dot. And as promised, we are joined by Dan Favale of Bleacher Report. Dan, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for having me as always.
So let's start here, Dan. We're going to have some fun, okay? Because we've been going through a lot of your articles, Dan, you know, when we take a break from some Jonathan Kuminga talk, and we love checking out all your articles. But Dan, here's the only thing that's going on here. I'm reading the articles, and you have a lot of good kind of combination articles where you are bringing up different teams. But I'm reading here, Dan, and it says one word to describe each NBA team. For the Sacramento Kings, you had hopeless. For another article you had, it was rosters that don't make sense. The Kings were on that list. You have players that you were predicting players that might request a trade. Domantas Sabonis. Then there was another article, teams that should trade their best player. The Kings were also on that list. Dan, is there any positivity you can cook up in your soul about the Sacramento Kings? In your heart of hearts, is there anything you got for us?
I love Clifford. I think that was an excellent move.
Okay.
I think he was the best rookie at Summer League by far, and he feels like he just does so much. It feels like someone who's going to fill a lot of their weaknesses, especially on defense, but also kind of bolster their strengths as well. And I'm kind of interested. I don't think they're going to do this, knowing how they've developed some of their other players. I really would like to see him run some of the offense too, and with Sabonis, but you just have so many other guards right now. I don't know if they'll do that, but that was a really good pickup by them. I think he's going to be a fantastic NBA player.
Having some fun with Dan Favale of Bleacher Report, and trust me, Dan, we appreciate it, and you giving us the ability to expand on that with the time that we have specifically in the off season. With that being said, you just brought up Clifford, and Scott Perry mentioned him running the offense. And Dan, I'm probably with you here because I'm gonna kind of assume your thought process. How much do you think I don't want to say obsession, but the love for Westbrook, or the feeling of need that the Kings have to add Russell Westbrook, how much sense do you think that makes right now?
Is there a number less than 0? I mean, you have Dennis Schroeder, you have Malik Monk, you have DeMar DeRozan, you have Zach LaVine, you have Clifford, you have Devin Carter too, and Sabonis. I don't see the fit there at all, and I'd rather them get a wing or another backup big than target another guard. So that doesn't make any sense to me. I'd be shocked if he landed there, but maybe I'm also giving the Kings a little too much credit on that front.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about why haven't the Suns called on Russell Westbrook? They legitimately they need someone, and he was getting 27 minutes last season. I don't see where he's going to get it on this Kings team, even though I know the Kings are trying to maybe moving Malik Monk for Russell Westbrook is just a sentence that I don't enjoy saying. I don't enjoy even getting into that. But as we move on to Jonathan Kuminga now and everything that's come out, the different smoke between the Warriors, Kuminga's camp, obviously the Kings, and now the Suns involved. Just from a basketball perspective, Dan, what is your take on Jonathan Kuminga? We were trying to figure out another player that called their shot this early in his career and said, no, I'm going to be a star. You need to pay me like it and give me an opportunity. I couldn't really think of anybody. Does that turn you on or off? What are your thoughts on Jonathan Kuminga and what he could be in this league?
You know, I was having that same conversation with my Hard Knocks co-host the other day, and we think it's Greg Monroe. Like, he signed his qualifying offer by choice when he was back in Milwaukee because he thought he was going to be a star, and he never became a star. Kuminga is... I tend to be lower on him than most, but I understand what people see. You look at his splits when he has played 30-plus minutes per game for his career, and they are insane.
Yeah.
Like, this guy can score. He can be a little bit of a play finisher. He can create his own shot. Getting downhill in the half court is a real skill, whether it's off the catch or from a dead stop. That stuff matters, but when you look at it through the lens of the Kings, you can see how they can paper over some of his weaknesses, like the inconsistent rebounding. Sabonis just gobbles up everything anyway, so you're fine there. You probably have enough shooters to where his rocky three-point shooting isn't a huge deal, but if you're playing him at the 4 next to Sabonis, or you want Murray next to him and Sabonis, I guess it could get a little bit rickety. I would just question, like, what is the plan defensively for him? That puts a really heavy lift on the shoulders of Keegan Murray and then either Keon Ellis or Nick Clifford, because Kuminga has not been, by and large, a good defender. The things that the Warriors have mostly asked him to do or make reads as a passer, which he just can't. Like, I just haven't seen it yet. But it's also, can you be a play finisher? Can you rebound? Can you defend hard? The play finishing, it's there. The defense, the rebounding, it's just not. And so while the Kings can kind of get past the rebounding, and they might have room for what he wants to do on offense, but that's the other thing is, all right, if Malik Monk is going out in this hypothetical trade and so is Devin Carter, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Sabonis, like, you're still trying to divvy up a lot of touches there. I would imagine they could figure it out, but I don't view Kuminga as enough of a ball mover to say, yeah, throw him in there with like 2 or 3 other on-ball decision makers and you'll figure out how to make it work.
Yeah, the other thing, and talking to Dan Favale of Bleacher Report, also the Hardwood Knocks pod as well. The other part of it with Kuminga is going back to a couple of years ago, because we went through the whole timeline today. The other part of it was they thought he was going to be one of those high-level defenders, hey, throw somebody on an island. And there are notes of that back in 2023, 2024. I think that he kind of is coming off like a, hey, if you give me what I want, then I'll give effort in that regard. But that's just not typically how it works when you're a young player in this league. And it hasn't worked out for him because he's trying to put the chicken before the egg, or whatever the case would be. With all of that and what you broke down, are you surprised at the Kings' interest, specifically the Kings' interest in Jonathan Kuminga, with Scott Perry and BJ Armstrong and a new front office coming in?
I'm a little bit surprised because I think even if I know the Warriors wanted an unprotected first, which the Kings should just absolutely not give up. But like even with Devin Carter, Malik Monk, and a first-round pick as a baseline offer, like that's not nothing. I know Malik Monk is maybe a little superfluous right now, but if I'm the Kings and I'm making this move, or if I'm a Kings fan, I'm sitting here going, okay, well then what's the next move after this? Because it doesn't feel like something where I guess you can play Jonathan. Again, Keegan Murray, Kuminga, that's interchangeable. You have your wings there next to Sabonis. But if you want to put the ball in Jonathan Kuminga's hands and you want him to work with Sabonis, I just don't know, like, DeMar DeRozan and Dennis Schroeder both being on this team, and then like Zach LaVine, I think he could fit around them just fine. It just feels like that doesn't fill their biggest need unless they think that he can also be either one, a better shooter than he's shown so far on a more consistent basis anyway? Or do they think that he can log some like backup center minutes as well to kind of diversify the way that their offensive looks?
Yeah.
I would say no to the latter. I don't think he can play them. He certainly can't defend like a 5. So I guess I'm not shocked. And for the value that's being floated out there, it's not egregious on their end. But it's still just like, Devin Carter was a lottery pick, and you're giving up another first-round pick with Malik Monk. That's not nothing if that's the package you're going in on. And I would want probably more certainty in whomever I'm acquiring.
My thought process, Dan, was that maybe a lot of this was to build some familiarity with Jonathan Kuminga, as DeMar DeRozan may or may not be on this team next season. That contract isn't guaranteed for the last year of his deal, that the Kings were maybe trying to build a relationship, assuming Jonathan Kuminga will hit free agency if he's got the stones to enter, to go with the qualifying offer. With that being said, we know the Suns are interested. We know the Kings are interested. From what you've seen, how many teams? We sat at about 5-ish based on cap space and things like that. Let's say Jonathan Kuminga takes a qualifying offer right now. He hits free agency at the end of the 2026 season. How many other teams do you feel as if the Kings would be battling it out with to win the Kuminga sweepstakes?
What gets really dicey with that is if he's going to take his qualifying offer, his bird rights, I don't think are going to transfer. And so you need to be a team that can afford to carve out the cap space to pay him. And so it's like theoretically, Brooklyn can do it. Utah can do it. Detroit can do it. I don't know that any of those teams actually want him. I think if Brooklyn wanted him, they'd probably have him already, quite frankly. I could see Chicago being a team that would be interested in him, and they could have cap space next year. It doesn't seem like there's if we were looking at strictly sign and trades, like for this summer, it kind of feels like the Jazz, the Bulls, or the Kings would end up being the most likely landing spots. I mean, Phoenix's best offer for Kuminga so far is just frankly a joke. It's just seconds and Royce O'Neal and whatever it is. So I think those would be the 3 teams I would keep an eye on. But it does seem like the Kings, just again, based off the rumored reporting we have of the offers, it does seem like they've been the most aggressive in trying to get him out of Golden State. And to that point, it sounds like he really wants to go to Sacramento, who seems to have promised that they would start him.
Talking to Dan Favale of Bleacher Report, also the Hardwood Knocks pod. Dan, let's throw out another name here as we were looking at a potential teams that will potentially be under the cap and teams that could obviously trade into it. Keon Ellis has been made untouchable in Kuminga situations, but ... Keon Ellis could be an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season because the Kings picked up his option when a lot of Kings fans wanted them to decline it. They wanted as much quote unquote financial flexibility as possible. Now let's have this same conversation with Keon Ellis, who if the Kings, they can offer him an extension, but he could still say, well, I want to see what's out there. Do you think the Kings made the right move to keep that short-term financial flexibility? Or do you think that there's a good chance they lose Keon Ellis if his agent says, well, thank you, unless they overpay early, hey, we're going to hit free agency and see what happens?
Yeah, that's interesting. So I don't know if they made the right decision, because if they're done and and they made this decision to help acquire basically Dennis Schroeder at this point, when you look at how they traded Valanciunas and kept Ellis's number low, then no, it probably wasn't the right decision. At the same time, we've seen how some things can come back and bite you if you pay these players early, looking at Indy with Andrew Nembhard and how difficult it made it to keep Miles Turner this summer, even though they certainly could have. I think if you offer Ellis an extension based off the money that he's only seen now at the NBA level, he would take it. The max they can give him, I don't actually think that he would get much more on the open market next summer. It, of course, only takes one team, but you're rolling the dice in a big way if you're him, especially because as of right now, you're in a rotation that has a bunch of other guards, and that's not someone who you're going to want to see scale up to the 3 or the 4 that often. And we've seen his usage on the Kings be inconsistent. That could end up hurting his value. So I actually don't, if they want him, I guess, I think that they can keep him, and it won't be, oh, Team X came in, we let him hit free agency, and they offered him so much more. I would be fairly surprised at this point. It may be as part of a trade if they identify someone other than Kuminga. I think they're smart to keep Ellis out of those talks, personally. Maybe if they're going after another type of higher-end target, sure, he's not that type of untouchable player. But I would think that if the Kings want to keep him, that he's going to end up staying past this season.
Dan Favale, one more for you on the DeMar DeRozan front. Now, there's some Warrior fans out there that they're just tripping, right? Well, if we're going to take DeMar DeRozan, we need 2 firsts along with him. And I posted yesterday, hey, can we put some respect on DeMar DeRozan's name? And I understand, the 24 million and the volume of shots. I get all that. But I still think it's getting a little bit out of hand with the DeMar DeRozan disrespect. Do you think that it's that far gone with DeMar DeRozan that another team wouldn't be interested even as we approach the trade deadline, or a second option here gets hurt, or a team thinks, man, we just need a little bit more scoring, but we're pretty solid defensively? I don't know, Dan. I refuse to believe that DeMar DeRozan is this immovable, terrible contract.
Yeah, I mean, he could be fully guaranteed for 26, 27, and you can't call him immovable. Like, it's just, It's such a short-term deal. And maybe the guarantee on the final year is like perhaps a little bit higher than other teams would prefer. What is it, that 14 million or 10 million, 12 million, whatever it ends up being? Mm-hmm. That's not like the team that's acquiring him and planning on waiving him. You're not planning on doing anything that season anyway. So I don't know if you get an asset for him, and it certainly depends on the fit. Like, I could see Golden State looking at DeRozan saying, hey, we have enough shooting liabilities here when it comes to three-pointers. We don't want him at that number. So I get that, but, like, no, we need picks to get off of him. I think what you mentioned, the scenario that seems if the Kings were either looking to get value or have the easiest pathway to moving him is we know that there's going to be a team that gets desperate midseason, whether it's because they're better than expected, worse than expected, or just have an injury might be the big one. And you look at DeRozan and say, that's he's still really a useful stopgap, not just as a scorer, but just as someone who can facilitate your offense. And so maybe a team like Miami ends up being better than expected. They have that Terry Rozier expiring contract. You work out some 3-team scenarios. So I would think it's more likely the Kings get a pick for trading DeMar DeRozan. Maybe probably not a first-round pick, but that the Kings get something for DeMar DeRozan leading into the trade deadline. Then it's, we have to include something just to get off of this money.
That's what I like to hear, Dan. Let's end it right there, talking to Dan Favale of Bleacher Report. Be sure to check him out on the Hardwood Knocks pod as well. Dan, always a pleasure. Really appreciate you taking the time, man. I know you're running around doing a ton, so thank you. And as the weekend approaches, hope you have a great one.
You as well. Thanks so much for having me, Alan. Take care.
That was Dan Favale of Bleacher Report, also the Hardwood Knocks pod. And I think right there, Kyle, what he said, the winner in all of this conversation, what he said about Keon Ellis. I thought that made me feel much better about the Keon Ellis situation moving forward. And you know what? Probably echoes exactly what Scott Perry and BJ Armstrong are thinking. Hey, the way the market is right now, they're going to be people they're going to be different teams that are interested in Keon, but we're going to take a pretty safe bet that nobody's going to come in and nobody's really able to blow our offer out of the water. Nobody's really able to do that.
And when we talked about this Keon Ellis option back in May and June, it was with the assumption that the only reason they would decline the deal is if they already had a deal in place for Keon.
Right.
But they wanted to do other things with that money this summer, namely Dennis Schroeder, but it also opens the door for a Kuminga move potentially, or at the time they were trying to go after Russell Westbrook. We'll see if that's still around, but it opens the door for them to make other moves in addition. So I do think, Dan kind of described it in a way that is probably more reassuring, I would say, than anything else, is that, hey, they still value him. They'll still probably be one of the top bidders come next summer. I mean, we mentioned a handful of teams that might have cap space that might go after him, but I don't think there's any deal that is going to just blow it out of the water unless one of those teams is thinking of offering like $20 million a year to make Keon Ellis a starter. And I'm not sure where that team is right now.
Yeah, and it was a good point. Obviously, all the Kuminga or all the Keon Ellis just stands out there probably didn't love hearing it. But, that's the other reality. it's kind of hard. Like we discussed, oh my goodness, what if Keon just has this crazy season? It's kind of not going to be that easy for him to do that, right? As the roster is presently constructed, how is he going to be able to do that on this roster right now, fighting for, even if he gets solid? How many minutes did Keon average last season?
I'm going to guess 24.
Okay, your guess is 24. Keon played 24.4 minutes per game last season.
Look at me.
And that's with some of it starting. That's with some of it doghouse. That's where it ended up. He played in 80 games. He started in 28. So, and that was with and I'm not saying Keon shouldn't play instead of these guys, but just rotation wise, that was with a Devin Carter in and out of the lineup and really didn't even start and it's kind of a wash because Keon was in the doghouse while Devin Carter couldn't play anyway. But now you add in Nick Clifford, who does some of those similar things. How much damage or how much can Keon show out? Let's say he's still, I think he'll still be at 24, 25, but is that even enough of an opportunity for a team to blow the Kings out of the water?
Well, I think the other thing is let's split the season into 2 seasons, right? There's the pre-trade deadline season where the Kings are going to try and get into the playoff race with this interim beam team.
Mm-hmm.
As it stands right now, it looks like bringing back Malik Monk, Zach LaVine, and DeMar DeRozan, and Keon Ellis, and Devin Carter, all of which are and by the way, they also have Nick Clifford, which, by the way, just as a side note, is saying you like Nick Clifford just a way for people to be like, hey, the Kings are screwed, but we like Nick Clifford.
Well, that's the next thing. Hey, now say something nice about the Kings, but you can't include their draft picks. It might just go crickets.
Every person I've heard talk about the Kings always prefaces it by saying, I really like Nick Clifford. I really like Nick Clifford.
I probably shouldn't say this, but is this the Kings version of, it's okay, I have a blank friend?
It was not at all where I thought you were going with
I
that.
can say that because my cousin is blank or whatever. I can talk about the Kings because I like Nick Clifford. Now that I've said I like Nick Clifford, here's why you guys are a ridiculously bad organization.
Here's why they made one of the worst trades of the last 4 years in the NBA.
Hey, I like Nick Clifford, but also yada, yada.
Anyways, back to the Keon Ellis point. So let's just say first half of the season is what they're doing. Second half of the season, let's play out the scenario that Dan brought up at the end, right? Like, contender wants DeRozan. They know that they can either guarantee his money for next year or buy him out in the summer, same as the Kings. Kings get 2 seconds. Doesn't have to be Terry Rozier. I know someone on the text line is yelling about Terry Rozier, but it doesn't have to be Terry. Let's just say 2 seconds and an expiring contract. At that point, maybe that opens the window for a Keon Ellis to get 30 minutes a game, play clutch time minutes, and maybe that's where either the Kings look at it and say, now we are committed to him in this next version being a $20 million player.
Yeah.
Who, again, if you're going to make $20 million, you got to either be starting or a high-level 6th man.
Mm-hmm.
Kings do that. Maybe another team comes in and commits it, but to Dan's point, who's the team?
Right.
How many are going to even have the chance to do that?
Yeah, it's only got to be one, but a lot has to go right in that scenario. And he mentioned Keon, he mentioned DeRozan. These are some of the updates that we feel obviously good about. Kuminga and his assessment of how many teams will be in on Kuminga, I mean, it's funny you sit there and say, Kuminga seems like a player that a bunch of people say, I understand why others are into it, but I'm not personally into it. But I understand why people are into it, because with Jonathan Kuminga, how many teams do we think are we got to clear the deck for this guy, which has gone back and forth as far as whether or not he's making the right decision with the qualifying offer. So great stuff from Dan. When we return, we have some updates here, some MLB trade deadline updates. We also have a confirmation as to whether Kyle was reading off real trades or not. And, of course, what should the Kings do next if they're making no more roster changes? Down south, Sacktown Sports.
20, 15, 10-5, diving. Is he in? He is.
The NFL is on Westwood One.
Down the middle, it's caught over the shoulder in the end zone. Touchdown, Smith, and that may make it insurmountable. Wow!
The NFL Hall of Fame game live from Canton, Ohio. Chargers and Lions. Tonight starting at 5 right here on Sacktown Sports.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
Seems like back to school happens earlier each year.
First day of school coming in hot.
And this year, my kids had massive supply lists.
Folders, notebooks, and pens. Oh, the humanity.
But Staples had everything I needed, with some items just 25 cents.
Watch the small print.
No. My back to school budget was saved by Staples Easy Button.
Everything for school, in stock and as low as 25 cents. Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app. In 23 while supplies last.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9861. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9861. That's 800-575-9861. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Get ready for a night out with Jordan Davis. It's Country in the Park 2, Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Along with special guests Mitchell Tenpenny, Locash, Vincent Mason, and Averyana. Make it a family day out with food trucks, games, dancing, and more. Saturday, September 13th at Cal Expo. Sponsored by the California Army National Guard and Hop Valley Brewing. Tickets at CITPFest.com.
People are coming from all over to Sacramento, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, from Folsom, Elk Grove, Woodland, Roseville, because they've seen for themselves the huge selection and the best prices at SacSuperstore.com. Good luck finding a lower price anywhere else. And if you do, they'll match it. It's as simple as that. Sacramento, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, where a handshake still means something. Open until 10 o'clock and essentially located right across from Hagen Oaks Golf Course. And online at SacSuperstore.com. The guaranteed lowest price and the best selection of Dodge, Chrysler, Jeeps, and Rams. SacSuperstore.com.
At Target, back-to-school days are here. What is back-to-school days, you ask? We're talking 7 days of deals on looks and styles the kids will love, at prices you'll love even more. Because back-to-school at Target means getting all of the above. Through August 2nd, save 25% on select kids' clothes, with additional savings to round out their looks, including uniforms, leggings, polos, and activewear. Plus, their new favorite backpacks are 30% off. Happy back-to-school days now through August 2nd, only at Target. Terms and conditions apply.
After I came home from Iraq, I could still hear the booms. Makes it hard to be a good mom.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
I'm Naomi Mathis, Air Force veteran.
DAV helps veterans get the benefits they've earned.
Thanks to DAV, I was able to begin to heal.
With the right support, more veterans can reach victories great and small.
My victory is being able to be here for my children.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Hey there, this is Dolly, coming to you straight from Nashville.
It's Stand Up to Cancer!
Join us Friday, August 15th for one night only and for one goal only to beat cancer. So stand up with all of us and let's save lives together. And if we join forces, we can end cancer forever. Tune in Friday, August 15th at 8, 7 Central on ABC, CBS, Fox, and NBC. For more ways to watch, visit standuptocancer.org/show.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Great stuff from Dan Favale. Really liked what he had to say about Keon Ellis. Just kind of giving us a look at the thought process of Scott Perry and BJ Armstrong. Now, we could be wrong, right? And I'm not saying Dan. I'm saying everyone could be wrong or not even wrong. The caveat is all it takes is one team, and maybe there is one team that says that's who we need. We need a 26, 27-year-old 3-and-D guy, and he fits exactly what we're trying to do as a six-man or as a starter, and we're going to cash him out. So obviously that could happen, but what Doug or what Dan and others think could happen is more so that there's a team here or there, but the Kings are right there with the same type of competitive offer. Plus, he has a relationship, and they're not going to be a bunch of teams where it's as much as a gamble as it may have initially felt like it was. Some MLB trade deadline. Kyle, you've cleaned this. This is all real.
Yes, this is all real, and there's a new one from 2 minutes ago that just came in.
And that you haven't written
that
yet.
I haven't written here yet.
Okay, well, you write it while I read the others. So the Giants trade one of the Rogers. Is it Taylor? I'm not kidding this time.
Which one is this?
Did you write down the right one?
Giants got... No, it should be Tyler.
I knew it.
Does it really matter?
I knew it was Tyler. Don't do this, man. Tyler.
That one was a mistake. That was just a pure innocent mistake. That wasn't me trying to mess with you.
Giants trade Tyler Rogers for Jose Butto, my guy Drew Gilbert, and Blake Tidwell. Giants open to trading Verlander somewhere, quote, he wants to go. Eugenio Suarez goes back to the Mariners because he knows how to hit now, which is hilarious.
Did you see that crazy stat? He has the most home runs ever for a player traded at the deadline.
Yeah.
Like more than like Mark McGwire in 1997.
So this is what the Mariners do now. This is now they will start losing games. It's just that's not me wanting that. They just, now that they've gone all in, they will forget how to play the game.
This happens every year. 1 year it was Castillo.
Yeah.
1 year it was Teoscar. I think you said a Rosarena. This year it's Naylor.
So now look for the Angels to make a move here in the West.
Which, by the way, the Angels just bought for some reason.
Yeah. The Mets traded for Cardinals closer Hensley. Phillies get Duran from Twins. And I'm skipping down here. Cedric Mullins, my guy, the 5'8", the 5'8" all-star, heads to the Big Apple to New York. The Angels, they were buyers, or they have been buyers for some reason. They are acquiring Andrew Chafin and Luis Garcia from the Nationals. Former Cy Young winner Shane Bieber traded to the Blue Jays. Yankees get all-star closer David Bednar from the Pirates.
They also got like 4 Rockies, which like good luck with that.
The Astros actually pulled off the boomerang, and Carlos Correa is going back to the Astros along with Jesus Sanchez. The Padres acquire Ryan O'Hearn and Ramon Laureano from the Orioles. Kyle, I'm not seeing Camilo Doval on your list.
No Giants transactions today, although Verlander might be a Tiger by the time we're done here.
And Kyle, you're burying the lead here with Mason Miller on his way to San Diego as well. The A's got a ton of prospects in return, as they very well should have. And just to recap those guys with you. 18-year-old shortstop Leo DeVries, the number 1 prospect in the Padres organization, I believe number 3 prospect overall. Right-handed pitchers, that is plural, Braden Nett and Henry Baez. Braden Nett is the number 3 prospect in the Padres organization, and Henry Baez is the number 13. They also get Eduardo Nunez, the number 17 prospect, all coming to the A's for Mason Miller. I know it's a sad day for A's fans, but at the same time, I understood why the A's did it and why, in my opinion, this is different to some other. This is different to some other years where the A's have moved off of guys that were about to hit their prime and they were supposed to pay them. They've paid Lawrence Butler. They've paid Brent Rooker. I think they'll pay Nick Kurtz, but Nick Kurtz and Jacob Wilson will be pricey. That is where we are going to see if they're really about that life or not. And they don't have to do that for a while, but Nick Kurtz and what's up? Nick Kurtz and Jacob Wilson, both of those guys, when it's time to pay them, that's where we'll see whether the A's have completely changed their stripes.
Yeah, I mean, Wilson and Kurtz, it would be interesting because you know how like some teams will like extend people early, kind of like the A's kind of did with Lawrence Butler. I mean, he had played 2 years, but like
that's exactly what they did. And it's the same thing that the Braves did with Michael Harris.
Yeah, and Acuna. The Padres did it with Jackson Merrill. I think he got like $200 million or something. But will the A's do that now with those guys? Are they going to play the arbitration game, right? Because Wilson, we'll see. Kurtz, I mean, there's just no way that guy's not going to be an excellent baseball player. And I'm not saying Wilson won't be an excellent. I'm just saying Kurtz looks like he's headed for like superstardom type of player. And even if I don't think there's much risk if you're signing that deal. Honestly, I think the risk is to Kurtz if he, takes $150 million now, but could make $800 million down the line. But again, it's just, do they even put those offers on the table?
Yeah, we're talking about $800 million. That's why Bryce is saying, get the bleep out of our dugout.
See, exactly.
He ain't getting that. He ain't getting that if Rob Manfred puts that salary cap.
No, and again, I'm just being facetious. He's an older rookie too, but like, this is the thing with the A's, right? And I talked about this earlier a little bit, right? Like Mason Miller, Jacob Wilson, Brent Rooker's obviously older, but like these players were going to play the bulk of their A's careers in Sacramento. Mm-hmm. The fact that they've already traded Miller, who's again one of like the 4 players that's worth watching in Sacramento on the A's, the fact they've already made that trade for a player in DeVries who is probably never going to play in Sacramento. I mean, we'll see maybe like half a season in 2027, but odds are he's probably never going to play in Sacramento. If I were one of the 28 Sacramento A's fans, this would be a hugely upsetting betrayal. And we know the A's don't care about trying. And
you're specifically saying Sacramento A's.
Yes, Sacramento A's. I know people will get excited about DeVries and everything else. He's the, I think, best prospect in like 8 years to get traded on deadline day. And I know people will get excited about that, sure. But I just don't, if you're a Sacramento A's fans, they've traded one of the players that you're actually supposed to get excited about for a player who's never probably going to play meaningful games in Sacramento. And that is really unfortunate, but it's just reason 800 why the A's don't really care about the Sacramento experience.
Win the battle or lose the battle to win the war, I guess. You couldn't say no if you're the A's. You couldn't. And they tried. Hey, they tried. They said, hey, we don't want to move Mason. Wasn't that what was that, last month?
Yeah, but I'm just thinking about this too. Is there any other even if DeVries is on the table, is there any other team that would trade an all-star closer in year 2? Like it just doesn't happen.
It does happen.
This would be, I'm not saying this, like on a scale of 1 to 10 and 10 being the Pirates trading Skeens, this is like an 8. And even the Pirates, who are terrible and have a low payroll, even they're like, of course we're not going to trade Paul Skeens. No, the A's were like, sure, what the heck?
two different situations. But you know what? We almost missed something very, very important. It's time for the 2026 NBA Draft Lottery Simulator. Can we stay hot? Can we give it to me one time? Oh, goodness. Oh, no. How?
9th?
With the 9th pick in the 2026 NBA Draft, the Kings draft somebody. We don't know.
The lesser boozer.
No. It was our chance, man.
Updated standings. We have 1 first, 1 second, 1 third, 2 fourths, and 6 ninths. Nice.
I just ran it 4 more times, and they're back to number 1. That's all that matters.
There you go. Took 5 tries, but you got there.
There you go. So that is the draft lottery results in our simulator that we are running every single day. Whitey Gleason joins us to close out the show. Trey Lance to start the Hall of Fame game tonight. He's not going to do it, is he? Could you spin the block on Trey Lance? Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
He digs, he turns, he dives. It is a touchdown. It is a touchdown.
The NFL is on Westwood One.
Uncorks a deep ball downfield into the end zone. A crowd is there, and it is caught. Touchdown. Miraculous.
The NFL Hall of Fame game live from Canton, Ohio. Chargers and Lions. Tonight starting at 5 right here on Sacktown Sports.
Allen Stiles here with your Sacktown Sports injury update, brought to you by DTLA Law Group. Denzel Clark, out with that right adductor strain, is going to be out until late August. Manager Mark Kotze said Clark will probably require a couple weeks from the date of his placement on the IL. Brady Basso, out with that left shoulder strain, is scheduled to throw 20 pitches upcoming in batting practice. He had been pulled off of his rehab assignment in mid-June. That was your Sacktown Sports injury update, brought to you by DTLA Law Group. It's Allen Stiles here. You injured at work? Call downtown. DTLA Law Group, California's leading injury law firm. With over 40 lawyers throughout California, they have won over $500 million in settlements. DTLA Law Group will get you compensation for your work injury. You don't pay unless they win. That's right. You pay zero up front. Call downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222. Visit them at calldowntown.com.
The Giant Summer Sale is here. Get giant savings on our giant selection only at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? Save during the Honda Summer Event and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. See all our specials at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Progressive's Auto Quote Explorer lets you easily compare direct rates from different insurance companies, so you can be confident you're getting the right one, even if it's not with Progressive. Way more confident than you were when you bought that TV in the parking lot. It just happened to not come in a box or include a remote. And when you finally managed to turn it on, all it displayed was the menu of Grumpy's Tacos. So use Progressive's Auto Quote Explorer and be confident you're getting insurance that's right for you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
If you didn't think skipping breakfast was a big deal, you'd be right. Before. But now, Wendy's has Buck Biscuits. We're talking sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit, bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit, or even the Honey Buddy Chicken Biscuit for just $1 each. Seriously, you can get all 3 if you want. They're just $1, so you'll never skip breakfast again. If you're smart. Breakfast for $1? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Limit 5 qualifying items per transaction. Not valid in the combo while supplies last.
At Kids Care Dental and Orthodontics, we're all about summer smiles. During July, we're having our Summer Smiles special with $300 off braces or Invisalign with no money down if you start treatment in July. And you'll have a chance to win Legoland tickets. Go to kidscaredental.com for more information.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140.
on Sacktown Sports.
Whitey Gleason joins us. Whitey, I only have one thing to say to you.
What's that, Allen?
Hang with me here. But
Oh, no. I have a bad feeling about where this is headed.
Isn't Trey Lance the Marvin Bagley of Joey Bart's?
Isn't the Trey Lance situation to a lesser degree Jonathan Kuminga with the Warriors?
No, it's James Wiseman.
How's it James Wiseman?
Because James Wiseman and Joey Bart and Trey Lance were the three people
they were going to save the Bay Area.
Which is going to be the bigger star? They're all going to be huge stars. Which is going to be the bigger star? And obviously, to this point, it hasn't worked out for either one of them. Well, Joey Bart's, he's got a career.
Yeah, he might find his way back on the Giants.
See him and Ramos last week, kind of.
Yeah, you never know. You never know.
Pirates are trading everyone today.
Yeah, why not? Not Andrew McCutchen. He's untouchable.
No, they won't trade Andrew McCutchen or Paul Skeens, but everyone else can go.
The only two untouchables. What are we gonna do if Trey Lance just goes out there and just spins it?
He better, right? Because he's not just trying to show the Chargers he can play. He's trying to show the league that he can actually play
quarterback.
This is a
huge night for him.
It is.
I agree. For him specifically.
Yeah.
Not really for anybody else.
During the preseason last year, didn't he have like 5 touchdowns and 5 picks?
Yeah, that one game at the end of preseason with Dallas was like, wow. And he ran for 80 yards on one play. Yeah. He had a crazy game.
Kyle, didn't you have prop talk? Didn't we find prop talk?
Yes, you absolutely can. Do you want me to do it?
Just give us Trey Lance.
It was 117 passing yards.
Hammer the over. Just hammer it.
How do you know? You don't know how long he's going to play.
Is
there one on rushing yards?
Let's see. Lance. 27 and a half.
Hammer that.
I would take the over on that, I think.
We are so back, baby. This is the type of stuff Jay was talking about when someone this is the last Thursday. This is the last Thursday without NFL football.
Apparently,
we're back, baby.
So you know who his backup is going to be tonight? Because I can't remember who their second.
It's not Sterling
Heineke or something.
It's not Sterling Bennett.
No, they Stetson.
Stetson Bennett.
Sterling
is from our old station. Yeah. Stetson Bennett.
No, Stetson Bennett. I don't know what happened there, but he's got. You just want to laugh at an inside joke that six people get.
It's not a joke. It's our former coworker's name.
Yes, I know. And you two and 6 people are going to think that joke is funny.
I didn't think it was that funny.
It was not funny.
I don't know where Stetson is now. He's probably selling used cars down in Georgia now.
Dude,
but
Brock Purdy is. Somebody said Brock Purdy is Stetson Bennett with a good roster.
I'm going to just show this to you. It's DJ Uiagalelei. So we're going to see him tonight.
Oh, wow.
He is set at 64 and a half passing yards.
He's not a tight end yet?
Apparently not.
I thought he was supposed to be a tight end.
We'll talk tomorrow, Alan.
I'm not going to lie. I thought he was at like Central Michigan or something by now, but no, he's going to play tonight. If you stick around and watch the second half of this garbage football game, you will get DJ Uiagalelei apparently throwing 64 and a half passing yards.
You say his name very well.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
It's a fun name. I just want to say DJ Uiagalelei.
Well, he was supposed to be a guy. And this is just the whole team of can Harbaugh save you? Yes, or including Justin Herbert.
It's both ways, buddy. Because guess who's playing for the Lions tonight? Hendon Hooker.
Now here's a guy that the Raiders need to take a look at when they move on, because Aiden O'Connell is just not. After Gino's done lighting up the league.
It sounds like, because you're in on the Trey Lance thing too, it sounds like if you're going to have a third string quarterback, you just want it to be 6'7" and can run.
Yeah.
And a big arm.
No, I'm telling you.
Want Brock Osweiler.
If Hendon Hooker didn't tear his ACL, we'd be looking at him a lot differently, folks. And tonight's the night. This is high-level football that we are about to watch.
You know who's going to be going up against Uiagalelei? Kyle Allen. Remember him?
Yeah.
Washington?
Yeah.
He was a starter for a season.
I mean, this is why the NFL is king.
Right.
There's always storylines.
That I can name, that I can say the name of the 4th string quarterback on the Lions, and everyone's like, oh, I remember him.
Yeah. They just pull at your heartstrings, Whitey.
Nobody here knows who Jesus Sanchez is, and he just got traded for like 3 prospects. But I tell you, the 4th string quarterback on the Lions, and people are like, oh, that was a guy.
Whitey, Mason Miller, he's gonzo.
Yeah, and a lot of people are saying that, same old days, and I understand why that's painful, but this isn't like that.
That's what I've been saying. It's completely different.
Yeah. That a closer, even a great one like he's been, is a bit of a luxury for a team that's not competing now and probably won't next year. And you get 3 good arms, and that's what the organization needs. And you get a great freaking prospect.
And that's exactly why, and we've had the conversation before, so I know you're going to agree, Whitey, just make the similarities between Mason Miller and Keon Ellis.
I don't see them. I don't see the similarities.
3-and-D
Things
guy.
are going so well.
3-and-D guy.
Mason Miller's a 3-and-D guy?
Keon being a 3-and-D guy. He's your Caruso, but you are not the Thunder.
Oh, right. Help, Kyle.
My opinion on it is different than Allen's because while, yes, DeVries could be an excellent player, he's never going to play in Sacramento. Or if he does, he's going to play 80 games.
Yeah, Kyle might as well start getting it right now because he's going to be a star here. Maybe it's DeVries.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it not DeVries?
I believe it's DeVries. Yeah.
Okay.
That's my bad, Alan. I gave you bad information.
Wow.
I told him earlier, no, it's DeVries.
I said, hey, can you double check this for me?
Did you double check it?
No, I did not.
Oh.
But you told me you did.
No, I told you, don't worry, it's DeVries. I was so confident.
I believe it's Leo DeVries. Yeah. I've been following him for a while. He's quite a player. He's like 18 years old playing high AA high A, pardon me. And he's holding his own.
But I guess my point was
I'm just too shook.
It's okay. You got to move on.
By DeVries?
You got to shake it off.
Shake it off like Severino when he fell off the mound.
Leo DeVries is a switch-hitting shortstop with the kind of hand speed that ought to result in more in-game power. For now, you have to be willing to speculate about that component of his game because there hasn't been much actualization. Almost all of DeVries' slugging has come from the left side. Despite his load featuring a hitch, he bounces his hands up and then brings them back down. I do find it encouraging that DeVries continues to produce at an above-average clip all the same. That is from CBS Sports' Ken Anderson.
There's some question as to whether he'll be able to play short at the major league level. He's had a kind of a rough year defensively. Long ways to go.
Oh, no.
And that would obviously affect his value if he's not a shortstop. He may be. Same thing with Mason Miller. If they convert him back to a starter, which they're good at, but, he had problems with that health-wise, that would change the equation as well if Mason Miller ends up being a starting pitcher. But we just don't know about any of that yet. I think the A's did pretty well in this deal.
I think they did too. And it's funny that you say that because we were wondering, Jacob Wilson tools-wise doesn't blow you out of the water at the shortstop position. Could he move to second? But if this kid can't field ground balls and Jacob Wilson is safe, this kid don't start with me with the questions. Now I'm just getting PTSD from Marco Luciano. Now he's going to be in right field, and we're never going to see him. He's going to be in Vegas forever.
No.
We're never going to see him. No.
I'm just saying this year there's some question about whether he's a shortstop. I'm not saying everyone agrees he's not a shortstop.
But there's a difference between not what we learned from Marco Luciano. You can either not be a shortstop and you can not be an infielder, period.
No, that's really bad. That's really bad.
And I guess Tatis, O'Neal, Cruz, I guess it happens, but I don't know. The Marco Luciano thing was just different.
Yeah,
right?
The only difference is that those guys are both Gold Glove defenders.
We'll give him a chance out there, all right? Whitey, what's coming up? I can't wait to give you a chance on your show for the next 3 hours.
Thanks, Alan.
Senor Segway strikes again.
Yes, he does. It looks like we have no Kyle Draper today. Because he texts today. He says, yeah, guys, I don't think I can make it. Okay. And then he says, yeah, I'm getting a wisdom tooth removed. And they say I probably won't be able to talk. Yeah, you probably won't. You take it easy. That's no joke.
Yeah. Huh. Did you just find out?
Yeah, right.
Today?
I don't know if he called. Hey, can you take my wisdom teeth out today?
Kyle, we can fit you in. We know you called a month ago. We can get you in today if you're available.
See, that's why the dentist calls a week early, because then they
definitely told him.
They can do surprise appointments.
So all the best to him. I remember when I got my wisdom teeth out, my dog came over and looked at me. He's like, bro, are you all right?
Yeah.
With all the gauze and everything. But it was just one, so hopefully you'll be okay.
Okay.
Have you had yours out?
I believe so, yeah.
You believe so?
I'm pretty sure.
Maybe not all of them?
I think it was in high school.
Oh, I would think you'd remember that, but
no, I I did.
You know, Whitey, most people don't because of the.
Let me ask my mom.
You know, I remember mine.
Why?
Because I thought I'll go to the dentist's office. I thought I'm going to be out. I'm not going to know any of this. And they're like, oh, you know, we want you to be awake for the whole thing. Okay. And at one point, the guy is leaning over me and he's like, oh, just so you know, this last one's really hard. He says the roots are like the legs of a cowboy wrapped around the horse. So I'll never forget that.
And you just can't feel it.
Right.
But you're watching him do this.
Yeah, he's standing over me explaining.
And your head is
yeah.
That's crazy.
With his whatever, you know, pliers or whatever. Yeah.
Huh.
I'll never forget that.
I wouldn't either. I would
and there
not
was
either.
His assistant was some young lady who I believe he said she'd never done it before.
Oh, that's great.
And I could see her in the back and she was like white as a sheet. Like, oh man.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it is. Whitey.
So we'll talk, to answer your question, we'll talk about John Fisher, who was in town this week, the trade deadline, of course, and DeMarcus Cousins, time to retire his jersey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was talking to Mike Bibby. He was talking to Mike Bibby about that. Kuminga, are you cooling off on the Kuminga stuff?
Cooling off? I think it's something to keep an eye on. That's all. That's where we are right now.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen. There's just too many things that have to fall into place, and they're probably not gonna.
Well, it felt like yesterday, and nothing that I've seen.
And I don't want him. That's the other thing.
Yeah, well, and here you do it again as we're about to.
He's not that good. He can't shoot.
He can be.
He doesn't rebound.
He can be. Okay.
All right. You're right.
This is one of your Padres. This is a Padres guy. Okay. He's got a pretty solid following. And he's saying, Leo, this is 19 hours ago.
Okay.
Leo DeVries is untouchable. There might only be one or two players in Major League Baseball that could be considered for him.
Right.
Did you see that?
Saying this could be a
fans on both sides
generational
are
and
upset.
Historic
Ace
mistake.
fans and Padre fans are both.
Did you
upset
see
by
that
the
guy's
trade.
follow-up, which I really enjoyed? He said, guys, you don't understand. The one or two players I would trade him for are Mason Miller and JP Sears.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Here you go. DeVries is 18. Nick Kurtz is 22. Max Muncy is 22. Jacob Wilson is 23. Tyler Soderstrom is 23. Lawrence Butler is 25. Denzel Clark is 25. Shea Langoliers is 27. Brent Rooker is 30.
And what did John Fisher say Monday? We're excited about the team we're building for when we get to Las Vegas.
And that bugs you.
Yes.
Yes, it's reason 800 why the A's do not care about
I know it bugs
Sacramento.
Kyle. I know it bugs Kyle.
Yeah, it's almost like he doesn't even want to acknowledge Sacramento. Oh, the crowds are great. We're just so excited about the team we're going to have in Las Vegas. It's like he doesn't even want to say the word Sacramento.
Yeah.
By the way, they're even worse today pitching-wise than they were yesterday. They're even further away from having a good... Sean Newcomb is their closer now. He wasn't on the team in May. Like, they're even further away from being good.
I told everybody, just enjoy baseball. If you like, everyone trying to get caught up in fighting with Oakland, hey, just watch the game. Just eat your popcorn. By the way, they premiered when I think the Giants were here for Giants A's. They premiered mac and cheese with brisket on top.
Who did? I'm sorry, the A's?
This one of the stands.
Yeah.
At Sutter Health Park.
Okay.
One of the best things.
Really?
I've had at a ballpark. Okay, I'll get you more of that information for the River Kitties.
All right.
You can always represent the River Kitties.
Tyler Rogers, former River Cat.
Tyler, not Taylor.
Right.
There you go. Thank you to Dan Favale for hopping on the show. Thank you to Kyle, as always. There you go. The callers, sexers, sack chatters. Drive guys coming up next. Buddy Gleason, Kyle Draper, maybe Jay Johnson. Until tomorrow, take you to the back. Like the bean.
Don't forget my podcast.
Gotta go.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturer.